with Polygon Pythagoras. Let it mash, yeah, crypto cash. Yeah, I seen the metaverse through Metatope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Phase 1, evolution, revolution. Smart contracts inside your smartphone. Phase 1, evolution, revolution. Help me ET phone. Whole body markerless motion capture. The metaverse broken after the Metatope golden era. The whitelist still open, hurry up what you need, golden chariot. Holy virgins that's holding cherubims, paving the road with fairy dust. Create the avatar of your wildest dreams, yeah. And use it inside your live stream. And all your metaverses, favorite games and widescreen. Metatope, visualize your digital ID.
Let's go. Woo! Can never not just give Eye of the Tiger a little bit of playtime. You all know the drill there, man. It's like when you play the thing on Spotify, you got Rocky with an American flag around him, with the punching bag, sweating his ass off. It's just like you just want to get out in the streets and run. But unfortunately, we got to talk about NFTs instead. You know, none of us are touching grass for a little bit here, so just get prepared, crack yourself open in ice cold water. Do whatever you gotta do to get comfy. I'm just kidding. Do whatever you need to do. We're gonna have some fun today. This is gonna be an absolutely amazing panel that we put together. It's been in the works for a little bit here, and we're really excited that everyone made the initiative to get here early. So thank you so much for everyone who got here on time, early, here now. That's the most important thing. I'm going to switch over to my Crypto Chris G account on the other phone. That way, just in case Twitter decides to get a little fussy, I don't accidentally rug us on this phone. So give me a second to switch over. In the meantime, I would like to just start introducing people up on the stage. Let's get over to the right-hand man, Mr. Walker Holmes. What's up, Walker?
Yo. It's gonna be a blast today, guys. We have some amazing founders and builders here today, and we're really gonna have a discussion on what it takes, where the opportunities and the threats are for this industry, for these communities. Guys, if you would please just take a moment and retweet the space, drop a comment. Let's get this thing all over the timelines. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Let's go, baby. Thanks for being here, Walker. Thanks for jumping up as a co-host. Mr. Fitty, the man, the myth, the apocalyptic ape. Man, what an awesome dude this guy is. I can't wait to get into some deep dive. I've been spending oh boy, we've been up till like 4 a.m. He gives me a co-host spot in his space, and I'm kind of like stuck there. So I'm listening and really wanting to be a good co-host for him. And we don't usually stop until I'm like one eyeball sleeping. The other one, it's like pitch black, and I just got a phone up to my face, just trying to make sure I'm doing my job in his spaces. So thanks for being here, Fitty. How you doing, brother?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me up. And yeah, we've been grinding it late, and I've been making promises to myself to go to bed early for the last year. So that doesn't seem like it's happening, because the later we go, the more interesting it gets. So I don't know how we're going to stop that, but definitely need to stop waking up and thinking of coffee.
Yeah, especially since I'm 3 hours ahead of you, bud. That's the worst part. Anyway, as we start moving through, I'm kind of just going the line. We've got our first special guest is next. One of the best collections. I mean, this is not financial advice. I'm obviously a holder of an Alpha OG set. I picked it up from Diesel. He'll be here in a little bit to stop by and say hello to all the homies. But you know what? Let's Quirkies themselves in the effing building. Sorry about that. How we doing, Sinatrovos?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for the invite. Good to be here. Actually, speaking of touching grass, I just got off a call with a guy with such a vibe. He's in the surfing industry, and he's referring us to a few independent shapers for our upcoming apparel side of things and launch of our brand. And it's just so refreshing to deal with people in this. Anyone that's been and worked in the surfing industry, it is so refreshing to deal with people like that, particularly when we're, as founders, so used to dealing with Web3, where it's it can be interesting at the best of times. It's just so refreshing to deal with people who are just relaxed but hard workers. So going well. Everything's going well. It's going to be good to talk about a few of the topics that you've got today, and looking forward to it.
Let's go. And I actually said that wrong. Fiddy is also one of our special guests. My bad, Fiddy. My bad on that. I do think, Fiddy, we do have Rhapsody joining us at some point. I'm sure he's going to jump in whenever he can. As I start getting her here going through, I'll let you help me on that, making sure that he's able to find the space properly. As we keep rolling here, Mr. Bermuda. Oh, go ahead, Fiddy.
I just shot him a DM as right before you said that. It's funny you said that.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome. As we move forward here, we got It's Bermuda. Bermuda's out here on these streets. He's like, last space. He's like, man, these ordinals, they sound pretty. They sound like I think I'm gonna let you guys make mistakes, and I'll come in and swoop for the bag whenever when the dust has settled. Is that still the case?
Yo, GM, hit the gym today. I'm feeling good. As far as the ordinals, man, you know what it is? It's new. I'm gonna let people learn. I'm gonna learn from them. I'll do my due diligence. Then I'll dip my toes in because, digital scarcity, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. The more that I learn each week, I think the more confidence I'll have in it. And I think maybe there could be a point where I dive in, but I just don't have enough knowledge yet. But I've been learning, so it's been fun. But this is a 6th stage. This is a really, really cool crowd. So, no, I'm super excited for tonight's spaces. But, yeah, let's get it.
Let's go, baby. As we keep moving along, we got the Joker. Mr. Joker, what's up, my dude? Thanks for being up. Special thing about Joker is that he's actually been involved with the Metatope side of things, like just being somebody we can go to and being part of our engagement chat that we have. And I just wanted to give him a special shout out for always being around and just being a great team player as we continue to grow through our ecosystem and continue to build our processes out. It's always great to have somebody like the Joker around to give us good feedback as well.
Hey, well, thanks for having me today. Just great to hear everybody that's at the gym. I curled 2 cheeseburgers today, slammed a chocolate shake. So I'm living 45 life like you guys wouldn't believe. I have the great pleasure of actually sitting across the table from the legend Jordan, and in the flesh. Let me tell you guys, he's even more handsome than on Twitter Spaces or on Zoom. So you guys have a real dime piece on your hands leading this company. So thank you for having me today.
That was great, man. It's hard not to just look at Jordan and stare. That's not financial advice either. Jordan, what's up, man?
I have to
go ahead,
say,
Joker. Was you finished?
I was gonna say, ladies, slide up into those DMs because this guy, it's just too much heat in the room for me.
Cracking me up, man. And from what Valentine's Day, just passed. It's a great time to start looking for your future Valentine for next year. So Jordan, I'll let him talk about his own personal life here. But introducing the CEO, co-founder of Metatope here, Mr. Jordan Yallen. Go ahead, and Jordan, what's up, man?
See, I know we've been talking about moving this over to a video format, and if we did, you would see that I am redder than I'm staring at a Coke box right now. Coca-Cola, guys. Great. This is a recorded space. Between Joker and you, Chris, I am blushing. I'm stoked to be here. We got some awesome speakers here and some supporters of Metatope, some awesome projects, and really appreciate you all. So I will turn it back over, and Chris, we're going to have a talk about embarrassing me again in the future.
Well, that was Joker. I'm putting that fully on. That was him, not me. As we move forward, we've got our Mr. Crypto Medic. It says operations manager at Metatope. However, he is a jack of all trades. The man was out saving lives as a paramedic before NFTs existed, and now he's gone to something a little bit harder. Can you save NFTs, Crypto Medic?
Brother, we're going to save the space. Good afternoon. Glad to be here. Glad to see the space growing. Happy to see everybody in here. I just love getting people together and hearing what comes out of it, because you just never know. And that's kind of like the life I spent as a paramedic. You just never know what was coming when that bell rang. So let's ring that bell, see what we got today, Chris. I love it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And next introduction is somebody very dear to me, somebody that I've known since the beginning of my Twitter Spaces endeavors. I jumped in a DGen Tune space, not knowing what the hell I was doing. And Mr. Diesel here gifted me my first true NFT, which was a DGen Tunes. I mean, my true first was a Gummy Bear Happy Land. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's just go with DGen Tunes. It sounds for a better story. So, Mr. Diesel, thank you not only for gifting me my first ever actual legit community, but also thank you for introducing me to the Quirkies ecosystem. And that OG set that I picked up off from you is I couldn't be more happy than what I did. So thank you so much for that. And how you doing, brother?
What's up, Chris? What's up, everybody? Jordan, I have yet to meet you, but I've heard good things. Yeah, I was glad to onboard you. That was a very quick onboarding, but I knew you meant business and you were new to the space, so we had to get you involved, like immediately.
Yeah, that was the days, bro. That was the days.
Really was. How long ago was that? A couple months now, right?
Oh, months, bro. It was probably like we're going close to a year. I mean, it was before your child was born. Let's put it that way.
Wow, really? That's crazy.
Yeah, you were chilling. You were like the top dog whale hanging out with us, and then all of a sudden you popped out a kid, and then we never saw you again.
Yeah, well, IRL gets in the way of degenning, so you got to do what you got to do. But glad to be here. Excited to hear what you guys have to say today. It's my first time in the Metatope space, and I've been following very closely with you guys. So can't wait to hear what you got to say.
For sure, man. No, we got an action-packed day. I know that Sin has an hour, so I want to be very cognizant of his time. And Raph is MIA. He's probably sleeping. I mean, the man is on Twitter Spaces 24/7. I think between Fiddy, myself, and some others being here, that he does plan on being here. But things come up in life. If he can't make it, I'm sure he'll reschedule for a future week. But anybody that's here from his community, thank you so much for all the beasts. I'm a beast holder in the Ramon Alley, and I am so happy to see the future of the beast side of things. As we give more time, let's jump in, guys. I do have some, I have an Easter egg. I might have like some people showing up in the space here that that we've talked to this week. That if they do come, we'll jump them on the stage and we'll have some good conversations too. But I want to jump right in. So I put Blur in the headline, and we all know this space moves so fast. Things are really cool for about 24 to 48 hours, and then it's like move on to the next big hype. But regarding Blur, we've looked at a lot of these different things, these different marketplaces, and it just seems like this marketplace has absolutely taken the community by storm, and really shows true marketing tactics to really get a large audience in their spot with their spotlight, right? So, I guess my question to you, Sin, is like, what are your thoughts on marketplaces? Do you see most of the community that is in the ecosystem of Quirkies, are they still sticking to the OpenSea or are they coming to the Discord, or are you seeing more people talk about Blur through your community?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. I think, look, it's tough. So I'll give you a couple of examples. So we've had a number of exchanges come to ask us to do certain things with them, whether it's exclusive collections, etc., etc. And any exchange which has come to us that has used royalties as a way of really creating a marketing buzz on the back of creators or the cost of creators, I've always turned down, right? And the reason is, as much as OpenSea have a lot of work to do, the fact of the matter is, if we go into this meta of pushing creators' fees to zero while businesses are being built, it's what people don't seem to think through is it's going to be materially worse off for any new people entering the space, right? Because what's going to happen is you're going to have all these costs front-ended. Mint prices will be materially higher because that's where the funding mechanism will come for collections. It won't be, okay, we can do a cheap mint or a free mint. I mean, we only did, our mint was only 0.05, right? So to build out a significant business on those proceeds alone wouldn't be probably viable. And that's essentially what Blur are pushing. They came out with that graphic where they can say, well, OpenSea shouldn't block us and blah, blah, blah. The fact of the matter is, if they want to compete on a fair playing field, then they should just match the required royalties to OpenSea, right? But the fact of the matter is they were very smart how they went about it. It was similar to Looks in the sense that people really, and funnily enough, I think that the reason that we're seeing such hype now is that most of the collection offers that you see on collections are actually higher than the floor at the moment, because everyone thinks that they're going to be farming the the second season of these tokens, which is interesting, because if you look at the token price of everyone else that's done it, like Looks and everything else, it's done nothing but go down after the hype. So it'll be interesting to see how it is. Yes, there's a lot of talk about it at the moment. We've got a really strong community and some big players that do a lot of trading, where we're lucky that they continue to use OpenSea for that exact reason, to support us, or they use Blur where they increase the fee, which at the end of the day, all those funds are used to then create a business which is sustainable and then can push value back to our holders, right? So our big push is to apparel, to an action sports brand, and to a gaming ecosystem. And in order to do that, you have to fund it. And people can't be anti-VC and also anti-revenue at the same time. So it's a really interesting conversation. I think Blur have done a fantastic job of the way that they've structured it in order to get the best impact, but it has been at the cost of, quite a bit to creators. And yes, they did do an airdrop of their own token, but at the end of the day, that's not sustainable if they're not actually creating a utility for this token. So all that has yet to play out. We haven't got all the information. I hope that it's seen as a bad thing for the ecosystem to be, a race to the bottom on royalties, but we have to play with the hand that's given. And that's why as a business and what we're focusing on is creating sustainable Web2 income, which we can then push back into our ecosystem and reward our holders.
And just to put that into perspective, February 15th, we saw over 45,000 Ethereum traded on Blur, and just a little over 7,000 on OpenSea. That was over 82% of the total Ethereum volume went through Blur. But when you look at the unique users, it tells a very different story. Blur. OpenSea still had more unique users by source than Blur did, right? And I think in a lot of these situations, we see massive amounts of wash trading, to create those potential incentives. So it is very interesting thing, and don't get never over leverage, especially when something is new and at the top.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I think, wash trading is, it's if you have a good eye, it can be a lot easier to spot. But yeah, I mean, I've been a trader for a while, and I did not trade on Blur, and I didn't get a single airdrop, and it was embarrassing. And I felt to myself, I'm like, wait, what was I get? Like, and I looked at everything that people are doing. It's like, oh, so I had to place bids. So like, I feel like wash trading, you were rewarded for doing something that most people frown upon. And in the most case, maybe Jordan, you want to touch on this more, but isn't this kind of like just money? Isn't this kind of just basically like basically an exchange between two people's hands of money? Like, where's the liquidity coming from?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. Yeah, actually, I was just talking to Joker about this. I was looking last night, and basically you had a handful of people just trading, wash trading back and forth, outbidding each other and then listing. And it's on a platform like Blur, they're just basically paying gas fees, if I'm not mistaken. I know you can choose to pay creator royalties, but I'm assuming they're not. And it's that's why you saw Franklin had $18 million of transactions in season one. It's pretty wild, and I'm curious to see what the season 2 has in store.
Very true, very true. Mr. Fitty, I think your ecosystem. I asked like a similar question to Sin on how it works with what he's seeing from the Quirky side of things. But for you, I'm assuming you guys have a little bit more volume because you can get more for the same price. And it's like, are you seeing people shopping on these different avenues? Are you seeing more private deals? Like, what's going on your side of things?
So it's interesting because I'm still a fan of OpenSea, even though there's lots and lots of options. You've got Looks Rare, and I know Franklin has really been playing that, and Looks Rare, and all this commission stuff, and artists not getting paid. And there's all these little theories, but I'll tell you, I don't really like what I see that goes on a lot of these token things, and I see kind of pump and dumps, and I see the exact same thing here that I saw in Looks Rare, and I'll tell you, OpenSea's done a lot since they started out, and they've got a great Discord. I don't know if you guys know, but I mean, anytime I've had an issue, I go in their Discord and it's resolved within minutes now. So they've been doing a lot of stuff. What people also don't realize, the amount of collections that are being launched on OpenSea are incredible. Like I was given a number, it was like something like 40, 50,000 a minute or something stupid like that. Because it's not just collections, it's also one-on-one artists. So there's such a large, also such a great name, and it's such a good feel and a good look that when I go to Blur, I mean, it is kind of a blur. And if you go to like Looks Rare, I mean, yes, you're going to get a little better rate, and I've been there. I'm not a fan, and most people I think are really trying to find that new one, and everybody's talking about that next one. But I don't know. I see OpenSea really teaming up with somebody bigger than they are, or maybe something interesting, and really putting something cool together. I do think it needs a little bit more safety protection. There's a couple things that I see that I'd like to have improved. But for the most part, I mean, you can't get a better name than OpenSea. Like how do you come up with Blur?
Exactly, man. I feel like we're in the blur market instead of the bull market.
Yeah.
Like we're in a blur market, man. Everything doesn't make any sense right now, especially the launch. I mean, dude, I tried to shop on Blur. It is like it looks like Cardano. It reminds me of like one of the Cardano wallets that has just a bunch of numbers and boxes, and I was like, what the hell am I looking at? But at the same time, obviously they're doing something right. They're getting a lot of traction, and and overall, I think that royalties is a very touchy subject, but for the most part, I think that they want to see everyone win. So I'm bullish on Blur for a lot of things, but I'm also bearish in a sense that I agree. I actually prefer OpenSea. But I'm going to try and train myself to learn new things like the Blur ecosystem. So as we move forward here, I do want to ask a few things regarding royalties. Sinatropoulos, you talk about how it's a bad thing to go that way, and I agree. I mean, there's a lot of projects. I think for the most part, we've seen PFPs, and a lot of them don't really have a use case for royalties. With that being said, I know you guys have been talking about what you're doing with Quirksville. Is royalty something that's tied into something about that what you guys are involved with, or what you're trying to build out for your community?
Look, it's from a business plan perspective. I think you're setting yourself up for disaster if you're relying on the fact that royalties will be around forever in the same way. We've seen how quickly it can be diminished. So if you're only part of revenue stream in your business plan is going to be royalties from turnover, I think you're going to have a pretty hard time of it. I think that the best times of royalties are behind us, and from our perspective, like our majority of our capital expenditure over the next 12 months are, well, there's a couple of things. There's marketing, there's stock for our apparel side, and development. And then from our gaming ecosystem side, obviously development and then marketing there as well. So that tells you where we're adding value back. I mean, one of the lowest costs is actually development of the Web3 side. And we've seen a number of projects issue more and more collections and raise money that way as well. We feel, and certainly I feel, that the winners out of Web3 are going to be the ones that create trust brands in Web2. And, we hear this over and over again, creating a bridge, blah, blah, blah. No one's actually building a business, right? So I think Yuga are doing that from a gaming perspective and an esports perspective. They've seen the fruits of that labor with that Dookie Dash, where they've got pro gamers now playing it to get into the ecosystem. Royalties for us are a bonus, and I think why we stand on the hill with OpenSea on it is that it's a bonus that should be around while the space is as new as it is, because it's needed, right? People, and I've seen it with the likes. I saw a post about Goblin Town the other day where it was quite interesting. Like Goblin Town came out as a free mint, right? And then there's people complaining that, and to be clear, that they came out as a free mint saying we promise nothing, right? Their expectations should be low. We promise nothing, blah blah blah. And now there's people saying, okay, well it went to 8 Ethereum, then you owe us stuff. It's an interesting thing, right? Because like what's actually owed after the roadmap is built? Like what are holders owed? I think from our perspective, what we owe holders is creating a sustainable business model. And if we're just relying on turnover of a product or an item, I just don't think it sits well with me. And realistically, our goal is that every person that owns a Quirky or a Quirkling, that they never want to sell it. So if we're creating such a good business model and creating such a community where you don't want people selling, how can you then sit here and tell your holders that the only way that we're actually going to be able to continue business is by forcing your hand and selling, because that's the only way we earn money? It doesn't. It's just not a good business model. We want our holders to hold, and we want the revenue coming from external sources, not just having people churn and burn.
That's true, man. I like that model. I mean, dude, I love my OG set, man. Diesel, shout out again, brother. Let's go. I know Diesel's got another. I might actually have to go over to him and see if we can find another one, because I've seen a couple people, for some reason, they're getting a couple of alpha sets, and I'm curious why. So I'll find out more on that. But real quick, Mr. Enzo, I saw you were up on stage. Sorry, brother, I didn't get to you earlier. What's up, Enzo? How is everything across the world in Europe?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm in Uruguay, which is in South America, not Europe, but all good.
Sorry, bro.
Dude, it's all right, bro. I think you do this just about every time. One day you'll get it right. It's okay. But dude, I'm actually doing great, and dude, we've had a great week so far, including yesterday in some of the Discord events. We've been having good weeks lately, and I'm just happy to be up here with you guys, and happy to be able to listen in on these amazing conversations. You guys have some amazing people up here, and yeah, I'm excited to be here. Happy to be here with everybody else.
Let's go, baby. Thanks, Enzo. And yes, I don't give me a map. Yeah, I know the states, but that's part as far as we're going there. I know where Mexico is. I like to go to Tulum, but yeah, Uruguay. I've never been there yet, but hopefully in the future, man. Thanks for coming up, Rasty. Just saw you popped up in here. Our third special guest has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. We have the beast himself. What an awesome last. I mean, gosh, bro, I've been holding beast for about 31 days now. I think is when the day of the mint. I wasn't able to get the mint, but I was not afraid to pick up that secondary, and I haven't looked back since. Shout out to the Ramon Alley, and yeah, man, thanks for joining us. How's your day going?
I literally just woke up like 5 minutes ago. So, yeah, I just decided to hop into space. I knew it was scheduled. I didn't get a lot of sleep in the last 24 hours. So I just, I just figured as soon as I got up, I'd jump in and listen to what's going on. And it sounds like it's pretty cool so far.
Oh, man, thank you so much. I figured. I actually listened to you speak on a few different, I think, a space yesterday. And I can tell, man, I mean, shout out to you for just putting in that extra grind. This is a time where a lot of people, I guess, would take a hibernation and kind of, go touch some grass. But you just continued, man. You continue to be around for everybody and supporting your ecosystem that you're building. And there's something to say about that. And I think that the proof is in the pudding, man. Congratulations on everything that you've done so far. And I do have some questions for you regarding your project, and I'll give you a couple of minutes to get your eyes going. Maybe.
Oh no, go ahead, man. I'm ready to go. Okay. Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right, cool. So when it comes to a kid called Beast, you're you're the hottest on the block right now. You've created a great demand for your project, and an absolute appealing project as well. I mean, I've had more Web 2 and more traditional people that have seen your project at most say that is some of the most appealing colors to them, and that's something that they can see themselves repping. And that's important to me, because we do have a lot of projects out here, and everyone has really freaking cool art. I mean, there's anything from cartoons to stuff that looks like a human, but what I think you've identified is a way to really give somebody like a non-human humanoid, right? It's like something that people are like, oh, doesn't look like a human, but damn, I actually can like I can see some cool traits. You know, get your outfits together that you want. And my specific one has an anime shirt, so you know, like I'm like, oh, okay, everyone loves this. You know, everyone's gonna love this beast. So I'm really happy with what I revealed. But my question comes down to the AR technology. You know, Metatope here. I know you probably haven't been too familiar with what we do, but we take AR and we're bringing NFTs to life. We're using markerless motion capture, and one thing that what we've done is we've taken the files like the GLB file for the beast, and we've been starting to tinker around with it. What have you seen be the top use cases so early in the game for these 3D avatars that you've put a lot of work into?
Honestly, I think like one of my favorite things of I get to see as a founder is just prints. I love seeing physical 3D prints of the characters. I love seeing people incorporate them into like metaverses, like things where the characters actually get to run around and jump and move and have motion. Always amazing to see. I was actually that's what I was doing while I was listening. I was just checking out Metatope, and like some of the stuff you guys are doing is really, really, really cool. Like I love watching projects like kind of push the envelope with technology. Some really, really cool use cases with what you're creating with the mocap and stuff I haven't seen before, which is amazing. So definitely looking into this a little more for sure. But I'm bullish on what I'm seeing so far. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that. And I'll let you did come a little late, so I'll let Jordan kind of touch on what we've been doing, and then I want to go
please
to
do. Get me up to speed because it looks really cool just from first glance. Like I'm intrigued for sure.
Yeah, so nice to meet you, man. And thanks for coming by. And really everybody that's in here. So Chris mentioned the markerless motion capture element of it, and like, what the hell does that mean, right? Because we throw around that term a lot. So everybody in here has played with their phone on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, and you play with face filters. At the same time, you've also seen like how the behind the scenes of Avatar, right? And they're wearing these crazy suits with like a whole face rig and everything. So what we do is we're taking what they do on that full body, what's not markerless motion capture, and we're applying it to kind of that similar filter experience. However, instead of just doing the face, we're doing the face and the full body down to the individual joints and the fingers. And the ultimate goal here is to revolutionize and really elevate the PFP standard. So you look at the notion of identity and where it's coming into Web3, and everybody eventually will have a digital identity, whether it looks like you or it looks like a cartoon or whatever it is. You'll have some type of digital identity. If you're a gamer, you're gonna want, there's no reason for you to buy a skin in every single game that you're in, right? If you're on a Zoom call, if you're doxxed or undoxxed, it doesn't really matter, right? There's going to be some notion of this digital identity. What we're focusing on is that infrastructure in order to make it portable and standardized. We're first starting with our mobile application, because how many of you see people cutting out their ape's face and photoshopping it on their body? And we thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to actually, instead of doing that, make it really easy, consumer friendly, and let someone fully actually embody their ape in their media. So we're doing it with collections, but really the underlying framework in what we're building is intended to help all communities and really help grow this space. So I love what A Kid Called Beast is doing, because it's I've only seen a couple projects do this, where you go on OpenSea, you see the PFP, but then you can also mess around with it in 3D, and it's just fun. It's really creating, I mean, literally and figuratively creating more dimensionality to these assets, and really showing we're scraping the surface of the potential.
Ladies, he's not only handsome, but he is smart too. Again, Jordan's DMs are open.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. You definitely like you definitely nailed it. Like the potential with 3D is just only getting unlocked. Like obviously in 2021, there was every amazing, talented 3D project that promised everything under the sun. All the metaverses, all the different amazing dream potentials that we got sold on that ended up being rugs. Now we're finally actually starting to see 3D projects actually do what they were claiming they'd do 2 years ago, right? And it's actually great to see that that fantasy turned into reality. People actually fulfilling on those ideas and those roadmaps and delivering actual like 3D use cases now, which is amazing, right? Because for the longest time in this space, like 3D has just been a battle of like the past, I guess, the history of 3Ding pretty much exclusively a rug, minus a small handful of projects like CloneX, etc. So no, it's cool that people are giving it a second go and a second chance, and are doing a lot of cool things, because 3D definitely opens up a whole world of potential in terms of what you can do with augmented reality, with with metaverses, with 3D prints, with facial recognition, like components and filters and motion capture. Like there's so much potential with 3D that's untapped. Not even factoring in like gaming, obviously, too. That's like a huge one that is like such low hanging fruit with 3D models. No, I'm excited for what you guys got going on. I love seeing anything that involves like augmented reality, motion capture, all the stuff that like gets people excited about the space, like who might not even be involved in Web3 and crypto. If you show somebody something that's like a new type of technology, whether it's motion capture, like a face filter, some kind of new way of exploring augmented reality from their device, like that always is a nice like hook for exploring how to access these new technologies and explore these new realms and these new interfaces, these new incentivized economies. I think it's always like really cool when you open that conversation up with something like a cool like AR filter or something. Like no, I'm all for it. I think that the potential of this is profound. It's going to do some really life-changing stuff. And as we move from the medium that we're currently using, like a smartphone, like we all know that the next generation is going to be like a headset. Like we're all going to get transitioned into some kind of headset that they're going to start exploring augmented reality with, and augmented reality experiences. Like right now, the smartphone kind of version of that is just the kind of test playing field. But as we move into that next medium, I think these augmented reality experiences are going to be so much more important than they are now, and getting that early adoption is just going to be really cool to see, and really cool to kind of see who the first movers are with this like new potential technology, I guess.
And really, Rousey, I think it comes down to creating opportunities for awareness in this space. Like especially in this down market, like I feel like a lot of times this industry really gets in a box. Like we see liquidity just floating from one meta to the next, from one collection to another, and the truth is like younger generations, and I mean this industry knows it very well. Nobody wants to be shilled. And, a lot of typical, or more like traditional marketing efforts, really turn people off. So what gets me super excited is seeing this opportunity to non-fungible tokens, to take these digital identities and to integrate them into social media, right? And you open up all these doors. Well, now you can take personalities, influencers, gamers, whoever it is, and tap into these existing audiences that come to that content, that come to that channel for joy, and show them that in a new way, right? Present your digital identity and in real time co-brand that with legacy wearables, with new fashion artists that are creating digital wearables. But yeah, man, there's so many doors that the 3D and the AR open up, and bringing that awareness into new channels, I think is going to be really exciting and bring a lot of people into the space.
Let's go, baby. That's good stuff. I want to jump over to Fiddy real quick here with a question, and then follow up. Really kind of open the floor about this topic. It's something that I think, it's always good to run into FOMO and hype. And when I say good, it's time consuming, right? It gives you something to do and really kind of spend your time and really look into. But really, Fiddy, like, I guess the question I have for you is like, as you continue to you have to continue to innovate to survive, right? So like, where do you see yourself advancing your projects, in 2023?
That's a really good question, because actually what I was thinking of like literally 5 minutes ago while Raspy was talking is, he came in a really great time. We kind of went from a little bit of a bear into a little bit of a correction, and people were kind of looking for something new. Everybody was kind of sick of seeing the same stuff, and it was really unique art, and it was really cool, and the 3D and the technology came, it was really cool. And, when we sold out a year ago, we hit a 2E floor, I think, within a week. But I had no clue about technology, about like some of the stuff we're doing, like AR and VR and things like that. So I just feel like this is just a great time to really focus on tech. So I give you props for working your ass off because I've seen you on every space. We're in a space together today, and I know you just slept, which is great. And you've just been busting it up, and I totally appreciate that because you know what? I've been there, I've done that. I'm still here. And back to that question, so I'm bringing a lot of really cool Web 2 stuff that I know how to do. I do okay in real life, and I'm bringing in some really cool Web 2 stuff, but I'm really focusing on technology, like really hardcore stuff. I got a chance to meet with Jordan on Sunday. Yes, the good-looking Jordan, the one that all the ladies want. I walked around the neighborhood and everybody was whistling. I thought it was me. Turned out they're all whistling at him. But yeah, we met on Sunday. I'm gonna see him for lunch tomorrow. And super nice guy, super smart. And it's so funny because this year, just as I was thinking, like, okay, I'm not great at technology. I'm not a techie guy, but I do know how to connect with people. I'm a good networker. I know how to do that stuff. And it just as I manifested technology, like literally this morning, I got another call from one of my friends who was with Fortnite. He just left Fortnite, so I'm meeting with him on Tuesday, and he's with this other big company. So I'm focusing on really building some really cool tech, and I really want to see these apes come alive. I feel like 2023, the dead NFTs have to come to life. They can't just be digital pictures. There's got to be more. We've got to make them into characters, and we've got to make them talk. We've got to make them sing. There might be a new Jimmy Fallon, and that's going to be an apocalyptic ape. So I really, I come from CA, William Morris, BET. I have a lot of entertainment background. So I'm really focused on the tech, but I'm still bringing a lot of Web2 business, which is going to create a lot of revenues for the holders.
It's fantastic stuff, man. And before we open it up to the floor, and really, I actually wanted to ask that same question over to Sin as well. Please, everyone, take time. Go ahead and retweet the space. We're at 200 people in a short period of time. Let's double this number. I know we can do it. There are so many people dying for good information, and to get a bunch of builders in a room. It's typically spaces are for shilling. Not are for shilling, but typically that's what happens. And really what we're trying to do here is just give some, hopefully everyone in this crowd can leave the space at some point, taking away something that helps them in their journey in Web3. And that's my number one goal. So, Sin, I guess as we repeat that question, I just wanted to bring it over to you and then kind of let, maybe people that like Bermuda, Joker, and people that are in the space here also kind of put their feedback on what they want to see come from projects. But where do you, as you continue to innovate, what are some of these, what does 2023 have for you? And what is maybe some opportunities that you see in some, threats in the space per se?
Yeah, it's an interesting. Are we allowed to call ourselves builders again now? Wasn't that a little bit, building? We're always building. Sort of went out the window there for a while. But look, I think it's the great thing about Web3 is the speed at which it moves, right? Like it's good and bad for someone like us or any of the founders here. It's great that we're able to achieve so much in a short period of time, but then it's managing expectations at that same pace, right? And I think we're going to see. Well, I know we're going to see a number of very, very large Web2 companies come into the space. We're lucky enough to be working with one of them and have been since August. And the situation there is it's amazing how little they know about how this space actually works and how people would perceive certain activations. And it's going to be incumbent upon, I think, intelligent founders to be able to onboard them. We talk about onboarding individuals, right? The way that we're going to get mass adoption is by onboarding corporations that have a huge following in a meaningful way. It will come out eventually, the company that's coming in, but the fact of the matter is that you would imagine when you first hear a name of that scale that they would have a absolutely in-depth, unbelievable understanding about what's happening in this space and how they can leverage it. And to be honest, it was like it's similar to onboarding like your mother that's just heard about making money with crypto, right? It's quite it was quite eye-opening. And I think that's where a lot of scale is going to actually come from. And that's something that we're focusing on, is that building those relationships where we can actually be partners with these firms coming into Web 2 into Web 3, rather than see the really unorganic situations that we see where people come in, it's a bit of hype, it dies because they don't know what they're actually delivering. I think that's going to be a big part. And we've seen that kick up, I think, the past 3 months, where we're getting a lot more inbound inquiries. And I'm sure the other guys would be as well, with the hype that they're getting. So for me, from our perspective, as I said earlier on, 2023 for us is all about building the foundation for a sustainable business revenue model that isn't relying purely on people turning over their Quirkies. It's just not sustainable. I can't stress that enough. And it's fine to say, we're doing all these innovative things, but if it's not sustainable in a way that there's a revenue model, I can guarantee that 99% of founders, etc., aren't going to be around because they're not getting paid for anything. And so many of us, realistically, and this is something I was thinking about this morning, is that just because you've gone from Web 2 to Web 3 doesn't mean you're automatically going to be successful. There's a lot of people with a big opinion of themselves in Web 2 that get humbled very quickly in Web 3. And the fact of the matter is that, you have to be delivering consistently and in a meaningful way, and not using that hype, because in 6 months' time, when it dies down, there has to be some foundation there. So that's what we're going to be majorly focusing on, is getting those revenue models built out, getting our gaming ecosystem and our apparel side, and realistically getting the trust. I think people really get lost in the volume and everything else. If you haven't got a brand that people trust, then in 6 months' time, you'll be, one of those projects at 0.01 and no one's looking at it. With trust comes the emotional connection, and with the emotional connection comes people that will actually do so much for you. And I've seen it happen in a number of communities. We're lucky to be one of them, where the amount of time people spend helping you be champions for your brand, I think separates the brands that are going to be successful from the ones that won't be. And I'm seeing it. I think Swoo's in here somewhere, which, I can see her there, where she's champions for, both Quirkies and a kid called Beast. So it's those sort of people that are going to really drive us forward. And I think as a founder, if we're ignoring or not valuing those enough, and I can only imagine, I don't want to take up more time, but I can only imagine what Rusty's going through at the moment in being the hottest in the space, is that you don't know who to trust. And it's something that I struggled with initially coming into the space, is you got all these people coming at you saying, we can do this, we can do that. And then you get berated for not taking up every opportunity because you're trying to protect your brand, right? And it really gave me the shits early on, and I shouldn't swear, but it takes time to filter through those people that are actually trying to help you and the ones that are just trying to benefit themselves. And finding those really strong community members is a huge part of that. So roundabout way, it's about onboarding the right people, onboarding the right collections, and also supporting the ones that are going to be here and not try and make a quick buck.
Oh, for sure, dude, for sure. It's and I think that as we see more bad actors reveal themselves over time, it'll just help us create a more of a better structure, or more of just a little bit more of a better head on our shoulders to identify those people that really don't have your back or really care about your project and are just here for that quick liquidity. And I think really it's like, I think that's the power of Spaces, is just allowing people to identify and expose themselves as a good actor ahead of time, and understanding and showing people that you're actually here for that long game it's something special. I wanted to give a quick shout out. We had a couple of new speakers come up. Mr. Aaron Doe, good friend of ours at Metatope. He was with us down in Miami. But, congratulations to this man. He's over a couple million followers on TikTok and recently just hit number 6.
Couple
in the entire
million,
world.
7. Hey, come on.
What happened?
Give credit where credit's due. He's 7.4 million followers.
Oh, shit. Oh, shoot. 7.4 million followers. Sorry. Oh my God. 7.4 million followers and number 6 in the world on TikTok last week for lives. What's up, Aaron? How was your day, my dude?
My day is pretty good, man. It's pretty cool. I've never stopped on a TopeTalk, so it's cool to hop in for one.
No, thanks for being here. I know you're moving around right now, and if it and just a question for you real quick, and I'll let you kind of hang out. Is like, what is as somebody in the Web2 powerhouse space of engagement, when you see projects pop up, are you paying attention, or are you just looking for ones that have established themselves? Kind of what is the kind of and do you have projects reaching out to you as a celebrity influencer per se to try and get you to team up? What do you see in this industry, and what excites you?
I just like the tech, to be honest. I had like a whole project I started a while ago that we're doing like grassroots, where it's just all just developers working together to do stuff. But I like the tech of it. I like how you're just finding new ways to like innovate stuff and like add value to certain things. My favorite part is gaming, to be honest. I think that's where you'll see like the biggest Web 2 integrating with Web 3. I think in terms of like, do I get hit up for like projects to go and do like what's it called, to go and do like promotion for them now? Not so much. In 2021 it was like every day, but it obviously like things change in markets and stuff, and it's slowed down quite a bit. I'm glad actually that I didn't take some of the stuff I got offered, because I got offered to speak about FTX, so that probably wouldn't have gone over too great if I had done that back in the day. But yeah, I don't know. My favorite part is just how like the tech can integrate in the future.
Yes, and that's great. I mean, it's cool that you looking for real tech, and I think that the cool thing about tech and existing projects is that I think a lot of existing projects, if it's not in their wheelhouse to build tech, like not everyone here is a technology company, right? But the branding that they're building and all that hard work and dedication puts in will most likely, if they do it the right way, and that's what they're looking for, should land, in a place of the technology eyes. And I think it's a really exciting future because it's happening for some brands, but it's not happened yet for like a lot of these major brands to come into space. But do you think that they'll start from scratch, or do you think they're going to look for something that's already established?
Can you rephrase?
Well, I think that they're going to partner. I know that a lot of companies will come in and try and launch their own collection, but I do think brands like technology companies will try and advance NFT collections through partnership deals.
Yeah, I think that you're going to see a lot of partnerships in the future with like big brands with these already established companies, because I mean, big brands are smart. They have a lot of money to put into a lot of stuff, and they're not going to generally choose. Personally speaking, I don't think that they're generally going to choose people that aren't already like established. It wouldn't really make sense just from the I think from their thinking.
100%, dude. Raspy, hands up. What's up, dude?
I was just going to go touch on exactly what Aaron just said. Yeah, big brands are definitely they're going to be entering the space for sure. I know I have one very, very large brand that's going to be entering come April, May. It's going to really shake things up for sure, I think, in the industry, just based off their reach and capacity. We're partnering with that brand to do something. And yeah, exactly that. Like, there's definitely big players they're looking. They're not stupid. They understand the potential of what's possible with digital collectibles and just digital tokens as a whole. And they're going to be looking for people that are kind of the movers and shakers in the brand and looking to kind of establish, I guess, a footprint of their own. Utilizing, I guess, these different kind of IPs and different movements and social cultures.
I love it, man. Thank you for that. And I want to give a shout out here to somebody who, I had my hand up for about like 15 minutes yesterday, and I was wanting to, kind of break down the mutant great bottle of how I could see that we could take these 6 bottles that those guys are going to give their holders. And I was looking to figure out ways to make more money. And Mr. Fidgetal, just decides not to raise his hand. He just decides to speak up, and he says exactly what I was thinking. So I'm bullish on Fidgetal. Let's put it that way. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Don't be bullish on Fidgetal. Nobody likes Fidgetal.
I love Fidgetal. He's my hero, and he's cute.
I just came in for the dick jokes. Joker, give me the dick jokes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot this is a professional space. I'm sitting across from Jordan right now, Fidgetal, and he said you guys had some romantic cocktails a couple of weeks ago, and I want to hear the skinny.
Well, the cock is skinny, so those are the tails.
Just so you guys know, I have an innie, not an outie.
Oh boy! All right, well,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to dinner at Shalom Japan, which is Jewish ramen food in Brooklyn shortly, and I'm going to cop me some members-only jackets first. I appreciate the space. Love everybody on stage, and Raspy, please appropriately refer to them as Fidgetals whenever you say Digitals and Fidgetals. Okay, just make that sure.
Holy sheesh, bud! You're in a wind tunnel of doom right there. My gosh.
It's called a love tunnel. It's a love tunnel of tune. I love you guys.
Exactly.
Have a good.
Thanks for coming up, bro. Always appreciate you coming by. Well, this is the first time, so appreciate you coming by the first time. But real quick, I want to go to Swoo, and then we're going to go to Fiddy. Swoo, if you had a question for Sin, he just DM'd me that he had to step off at the hour mark. But I definitely want to give you a time to say what's up. I just met you in the last space I was in, so thank you for coming up and saying what's up to the crowd.
Oh, thank you for having me, Crypto. I'm a woman of my word. Let's say that. And you know what? This is directed even with Rasp, because Rasp's one of my founders and a great leader to have. I love that you're so community-based and stuff like this. I just did have a few questions. More of the Web3 expectations just not being realistic. How do you see the spaces, and where do you think it's headed? And then how does the expectations of the people here affect the future? And also, just to chime in, is there any way we could manage it better?
So how do I feel spaces kind of affect the future was the first question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the conversations we're having are kind of like the real-time dynamic narrative of, what we're all experiencing and what we all kind of assert or I guess kind of like how we see things are going. I guess the spaces are kind of like right now, I would say the ones that are, that are consistent are really the ones kind of pushing the narrative of what we can kind of expect the conversations to be around. I don't know. I think spaces are probably the most important tool right now because it's like the dialogue amongst all the kind of movers and shakers in the entire industry that are conversating about where things are headed, what we like, what we don't like, kind of establishing, I guess, a system of morals, ethics, policing ourselves at the same time too, because no one else is going to do it for us, right? And minus the SEC, I guess. Yeah, I think spaces are super, super important right now in the space and like shaping how things are moving. I mean, every week you see there's a new meta, there's a new kind of foundation, new culture. Like this week with meta, it was like ordinals. In previous weeks it was like open edition. Like there's always like an updating, kind of changing meta every week, and it's evolving. It's evolving the conversation, the infrastructure of how we operate. What works, what doesn't. There's a lot of experiments. Yeah, I think spaces are critical right now with the kind of the development of
and
what's
Raph,
going on.
not to cut you off, I only asked this because your community is die hard for you. We are so strong behind you, right? And we've been spacing and building and like the beast hoods that are set up. They're really building in between those beast hoods, and it's been amazing.
Oh yeah, no, I know they are. So yeah, like I like my kind of initiative that I'm shifting my focus to is pretty much like I want to activate all the individual beast hoods and give them kind of like actionable things that they can kind of work on or work towards or contribute to. Because like here's the thing, it's always great when a project is like, hey, here's some IP rights, here's some stuff you can do. Not everyone's going to come up with things to do with that IP, right? Some people need kind of education and resources and understanding of what's possible, or at least have some kind of framework or at least be given I guess a leader to kind of demonstrate that for them. So like my goal right now is to basically kind of get all the beast hoods kind of working on different specialties that pertain to their beast hoods. Like for example, like Beat Street Beast Hood is working now on music and music production and assembling kind of a mixtape to showcase all the talent in that beast hood. Then we also have Cloudy Gardens, which is kind of working on script writing and lore writing for the upcoming short film that we're working on. So yeah, basically kind of giving everybody actionable things that they can kind of build out and work together on. It'll induce community involvement. It'll get people, more thinking more cleverly about Web3 and what's possible with Web3, and kind of turning themselves into more of a leader, less of a kind of like that classic hierarchical kind of approach of like, hey boss, what do you want me to do? Kind of teaching people to think of the space as like, they have the ability to do whatever they want in the space. They should be able to create their own jobs and their own opportunities. And sometimes it just takes a kind of a reprogramming of how to think to be able to do that in this space. Because a lot of people who are in this space are here as hobbyists. They might have like a Web2 job, a 9 to 5, something that they do, but they enter this space as a hobby to kind of learn more about what else is possible. It could be a side hustle. It could be, it's different things for different people. And being able to educate people on how to think in this space so that they can, look for opportunities and create job openings for themselves versus going and asking people what they can do, or, taking that kind of like, that kind of an employee approach. I think, teaching people how to become kind of employers is super, super powerful in this space, because that's what is going to kind of create jobs, allow people to, become very savvy at onboarding others, and also, look to think about creating solutions versus kind of, I guess trying to look for jobs. I think that's kind of, something I'm really, really kind of passionate about, and I think is kind of important for me right now.
I know, I love this. I love this. And I also want to say you're one of the first projects that I've been involved with where not focused, but some of the traits as far as the feminine traits, like we don't really have much, we have a voice here, but the amount of effort you guys put in on the traits and the amount of ladies that are in there is just, it's beyond me. It just lets me know how much respect, like not as just for the community in general, and then just thinking about everybody as a wholesome. Being here and always having to, always rock male traits or something like that to get in when you fall in love with something. This has just been very beneficial. And then Raph, not to put you on blast, but I swear I'm in your DM. Please, I just need a confirmation from you.
Of course, yeah, I'll
I
check that
know,
out right
King.
away.
I know
And
you're busy, and I'm sorry.
and to go with what you said too, I definitely think women are drastically underrepresented for their talents in this space. I see a very similar thing that happened with gaming a decade ago, where there was very few women in the space. Now there's so many powerful, strong women in the space. It's beautiful to see that ratio shifting, where it's not just a boys' club anymore. I want the same thing to happen in NFTs, because I myself, as much as I love hanging out with the bros, I definitely when I go to social events, when I hang out in real life, there's definitely an equal ratio of women to men. You know what I mean? I want to see the same thing happen in this space. I don't want it to be just a boys' club. I want to see tons of women in this space, thriving, creating, having fun, enjoying themselves, partying at IRL events. I think that's what this space and culture is lacking right now. And so I'm definitely like pushing towards having more women in the space for sure, in the ways I'm able to help, at least.
Love that. And a kid called beast. Having thought leaders like yourself, Raspy, stepping up and us really making initiatives. I think offering education and onboarding opportunities for women to feel like they have a voice in a space here is really going to be critical to push the needle, and to make women feel like this is an inclusive space and somewhere that they belong. Jordan, did you have your hand up? And I see Aaron is
Yeah,
here.
we'll get to Aaron in a second. I love that conversation that you guys were just having, because when we went to NFT NYC, we went to Expoverse here in LA, and I mean, we have access to all this demographic information, all these analytics and statistics and whatnot, and we knew our target demo that were active Ethereum wallets holding NFTs, right? Those are the people we wanted to target. Well, everything came back that it skewed substantially male. But then we go to NFT NYC, we go to Expoverse, and we had this booth set up. It was an AR experience. You look around, and I mean, it was 50-50, if not maybe even skewing more toward women. And the interest and the fascination and the conversations that we had, like, again, I mean, you go to one of these, an NFT conference, you're probably like imagining just you're talking to a bunch of like nerdy guys, but it was really the opposite of that. I mean, there were tons of women who were really engaged, really interested in the space. And I think it kind of surprised us initially. And we've made some shifts in what we're doing because of those in-person interactions. And you guys are so right. And yeah, Raspy, I love what you guys have done by working on those traits. And you can hear a community member, I mean, how it impacts them. So it's super powerful, and it affirms a lot of the stuff that we believe in. So I love to see it.
Head on over to Aaron.
I just had my hand raised this time because I was saying I gotta go. But you guys are awesome, and I love what everyone's doing. It's very cool to hear people creating in the space and just really building. That's so cool. Alrighty,
Thanks for being here, bro.
I'll see you guys.
Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk this week after. Fiddy, I saw you had your hand up earlier. Did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I was actually going to say something back at brands coming to the space. What's interesting about that, a lot of them are here. A lot of them are here, and people don't know about it. I mean, I just had a space with a show that called Acropolis. I can't even pronounce it. It's on Fox, and Murdoch, who is the 13th richest person in the United States. I think he's number 80 in the world, or so, I don't even know what he's worth, like $80 billion. He has a Web3 department here in Los Angeles, with 20, 30 employees. Nobody talks about it. Nobody knows anything about it because they're not trying to sell out a project. They're here for the next 5, 10, 15 years. They're 35% sold out. They have $2 million that's already been allocated for episodes. They have 10 episodes ready to go, and they don't need the mint out money. So that's why people aren't really focusing on those big brands, because they're not here for the next week sellout or a month or 2, 3 months, or what does the floor look like. They're here for the long term. And I probably know about 30, 40 companies. I'm in conversations with probably 5 or 10 of them. Justice is down here below. His dad is Dave Mustaine from Megadeth, and we're taking them to Web3. We're launching some incredible utility with them probably in the next couple months. We're actually going to do a space probably tomorrow or Saturday. We've done a bunch, and if he wants to come up and say hello, he's an awesome guy. He's built an incredible career for himself with another management company. He's a super great business person too. So if you want to come up, say hello, that's awesome. But there's a lot of companies up here, guys. This is what people aren't talking about. I started with Alienware when I first got into the space, and I went through 3 months of Zoom calls and meetings. Then they told me, sorry, we can't work with you because you guys eat a lot of electricity. I'm like, I swear I don't eat much electricity. I'm not that bad. No, you eat electricity. You guys take all electricity. You're not green. So that was over. I got a call from them about a month ago. We're back to conversations. Now they're saying different stories. Now they're saying we were scared in the beginning to be there. Now we're scared not to be here. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know. I don't have my hopes up yet. But my point is, these companies are all here and they've been building. There's 5 car brands that have built metaverses and they've launched projects and they failed because they do not partner up with Web3 people. They have no clue what they're doing. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up. I know it was like 5-10 minutes ago, but if Justice wants to come up, that'd be awesome. He's a great guy. Love for you guys to meet him. But I truly think this Megadeth with experience is going to be incredible. It's called Rattleheads. Rattleheads is the mascot that Dave Mustaine has had, and they have 16 albums. And Rattleheads is really evolved, in the last since 1983. I believe that was the first album. And what's cool about it, 40 years later, Dave is still going strong and just got nominated for Grammy. So it's a pretty cool, and there's a ton of utility. This is one project you're going to see that has so much utility that I'm scared there's too much utility. So we're actually trying to take away some stuff. I mean, they've got partnerships and brands everywhere. So I'm pretty excited where the space is, and I'm super excited to be here, guys. Thanks for having me up.
Dude, super bullish on you guys. And real quick, Justice, I just saw you came up. I want to get to you real quick, but I just want to also say hi to Mr. Armand, the man, the myth, the rebud capital of California. What's up, my dude?
What's up, Chris? Hey, guys. Man, you got all the cool people up in the stage, bro. What's up, PD? What's up, Bermuda, Jordan? Man, a nice space, brother. Congrats.
Thanks, dude. And it just shows we all want to learn, we all want to build. So thank you for being here, Armand. What's going on? Do you have any questions for anybody, or before I get you a question?
No, man. I just have 10 minutes before my next meeting. I just saw all my good friends up here. I love Fidi. I love Bermuda, man. I've been gambling with him in Vegas. And a good time. You know, I saw all the cool people up here. We got the Rusty in here. Just want to come and say and give a quick shout out to you guys. Love you all. Keep building it. You motherfuckers, you are the greatest right now in the space. Just keep doing your thing. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you for coming up, dude. You're an awesome person. I think that I'm really excited for what you're doing with Rebud, and I look forward to seeing you in Los Angeles soon. I Let's get over to Justice. I know that Fiddy was talking about Justice, and real quick, if anybody does in the audience, and I want everyone to know that everyone here is special. Like we're all in the same Web3. If you have something you want to talk about, shoot me a DM request, and I'll get to it and see if it's something we can bring you up for. There's no wrong questions. We just want to make sure that we're keeping it moving. And yeah, thank you so much, Armand. Have a good meeting. And Mr. Justice, I saw you were here, and then we'll go to Bermuda after.
I just want to say hi and thanks for bringing me up, and Fitty for the kind words. But as you mentioned, that we are starting a Rattleheads NFT project. The brand has been around for 40 years. We've got an existing community, but they're really, since it started in '83, these are probably all Web2 people that we would like to carry over into Web3 and just educate them in the music space. I know there's a lot of people, a lot of musicians that have entered in, and we want to do right by our genre. And that's really, our focus is to give back to the fans we already have and to kind of bring them into the future a bit.
No, thank you for doing that. And Fiddy did say some really cool stuff about you're doing. He said you're doing short film. Is that correct?
That we're doing a what? I'm sorry.
You're involved with like short film making?
No, he works for the management. He's working with some pretty incredible artists.
Oh, I must have misheard. Sorry, bro. I got like DMs and so
Yeah.
I was
Wrong DM.
that.
That must have been from Resby.
Yeah, that's.
No, there were Justice. If you want to touch on what you're doing, he's doing some incredible stuff on his own, not just for Megadeth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an artist manager at a company. We represent, we manage the career of Dolly Parton, Cheap Trick, Kenny G, Casey and the Sunshine Band, and some other artists. And, it definitely keeps my plate full, but I've always had a passion I'm a gamer myself, so I completely get what Raspy was saying and others about, taking this into the gaming world. I would love to have a NFT Call of Duty skin and start, stop having to use the stock players they give us. So.
Yeah, no cap on that, bro. I'm not picking up that game until I get either my Metatope or one of my collections from all of you guys. So, yeah, let's jump over to Bermuda. What's up, my G?
Yo, what's good? What's good? Just been listening. A lot of good takes from a lot of great people. Raspy, what's good, brother? Nice to meet you. I've heard a lot of cool stuff. One of the things that kind of shocked me off jump, because I was pretty late. I saw floor go to like 0.4, 0.5. Went on vacation, came back. It's 2. Oh my God! Why did I even touch grass? But that being said, man, like one of the things that really impressed me outside of like the color palettes and the attention to detail and the art was right off jump on OpenSea. You had the 3D versions, and so that really speaks to the amount of preparation that you put into it. But more than that, it tells me where your vision is, obviously in the future, and the foresight that you had there, to put that in early on. So, I mean, when you talk about 3D versions of NFTs, it just gives that extra layer and that kind of like ability to API plug it in to a SDK kit or whatever it may be, across metaverses, movies, shows. So, now you have these factions, which I first heard about with the Utes, but it seems like these type of these groups are a little tighter and they're managed well. And one of the things that the Utes have been working on is that like the leaders of some of those traits, after a while, maybe it was just a guy that had a bunch of crowns or had a bunch of beanies, and he's like, "Yo, I'm going to start this group," and then maybe got too much time in his job or the motivation fell off and the leadership wasn't there. And so they're rebuilding that right now. And so, to see that you guys have these 20 different beast hoods, you know, the real estate one, the hip hop one, like those ones definitely kind of, you know, speak to me. I think is awesome. So, you know, I just want to show you some love because the combo of those two things with the art really catch my attention. And, you know, with everything going on in Hong Kong with the crypto and the Asian markets, you know, tuning in, the anime touch to it, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff. And I think it's just like the perfect concoction for what's going on right now. And, you know, if you can continue to capitalize on it, while man, I think always the biggest thing that I always try to say is, you know, manage expectations because it's so damn hard in this space. It's really unrealistic what a lot of people expect in such a short time frame. But, you know, yeah, a lot of good people have reached out to me about your project, and you know, I'm hunting now.
Appreciate that. No, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't easy to do what we did. And like, here's the thing, like we have been working at this for like 15 months. Like that's like eternity in crypto, right? Like, you'll see projects come and go, like start, launch, die in that time frame several times over and over, right? So like, yeah, like having to create when we started this project, it was just like we had like 100 traits. It was just like a kind of like a rough concept. And you know, we listened to the community, and they pretty much told us all the traits we wanted to build. So building them out in 3D was definitely a challenge. We ended up hiring like 15 3D artists at one point to help scale the attributes and the traits. We have like 1,700 traits in the collection, and to make them work, like people, you know, there's a lot of things you can do if your project is just a JPEG. You can mask, you can hide a lot of stuff behind layers that the audience won't see. But to make it fully three-dimensional where it actually works, there's no clipping issues, there's no issues with each of the 3D models. Like if you're familiar with the 3D space, to do something that you can rotate in 360 degrees and not have issues that come up, making sure that all 1,700 traits work with all 1,700 other traits. Like for example, if like you have a character that has floppy ears, okay, that stand out. What happens when you have a hoodie up? What happens to those ears? Do they clip through the hoodie? Or does the algorithm have to know, like when the hoodie's up, the ears have to get
Remember
tucked
Hape?
behind the hoodie, right?
Hape back in the day? The Hape, they had that exact problem, and it was posted on Twitter like the day that it launched, and it just went to shit. And it's so true. Something so small as like a shirt, like the arm.
Yeah,
goes
like if you have an undershirt on, right? How should that undershirt work with a hoodie, right? Or if you have like I don't know, a hat can't go over top of a space helmet. So there's different like algorithmic, like if this then that statements that have to be made in the algorithm to make sure that the traits are compatible with each other, while you're also taking into account, you know, 20 different archetype styles of clothing and accessories for each of the individual archetypes. So it was definitely a math problem to solve for sure. It took a lot of planning, a lot of like kind of problem solving for sure. So yeah, no, I'm really proud of what we've done. Like it took a huge team and like a ton of effort. And now, you know, we get to explore all the possibilities with it. Like, you know, the next step is rigging up to all the models. Once the models are rigged, we can do anything. We can get into any metaverse. We can, like, you bet your ass, we're going to be getting ready to, you know, as soon as other side opens up an ODK or an SDK, we're going to be gunning to get in there first for sure. Because like I love what they're doing at other side. I love what they're doing at all these you know, these different metaverses. Like I want to incorporate that stuff as early as possible and get people hanging out and creating in those spaces too. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
totally
I mean,
bullish on that.
it only makes sense, right? But what's nice about it is that you did it before you dropped. It's just so many projects talk about it and they talk about it and they talk about it and okay, it's coming soon.
Yeah, the hype dies right by the time you get to it. So like, you can't just sit there and like play Kickstarter. You gotta plan for these things in advance because like people have been rugged too many times. They expect deliverables. Like they're not stupid these days, right? You can't just like bust out an Azuki derivative with some fiber art and expect you're gonna moon anymore. Like those days are done. You have to have some serious utility. You have to build things out that people actually want to use.
My last question to you would just be real quick, Chris, would be because a lot of projects don't have the funding to hire 15 people to work on art. Usually they have to sell in order to get to that point. So, you know, were you coming from a previous project? Was it personal Web 2 stuff? How did you?
Yeah, we just funded this ourselves. Like it was me and four buddies. We just funded this project entirely ourselves. There's no VC funding. We have zero debt whatsoever. And the business is really lean because like most of the skills that we have, we just use ourselves. Like myself, for example, I came from a digital marketing background. Before that, I hosted music festivals and events for a living. And I've been trading in foreign exchange and gold markets. So I understand. I'm probably one of the best traders I know, actually, not to toot my own horn when it comes to foreign exchange. But I made a majority of my wealth doing that. So now, obviously, I have a good layer of freedom where I can kind of create things I enjoy, things for my soul, which is this project. This is like my baby, my passion project. And then, of course, everybody on my team is a wizard as well in their own right. Caleb really established in the DeFi space. Very very creative and artistic. CryptoCrad, he's a DeFi legend himself. Like he's been responsible for some of the biggest token launches in DeFi history, even I would say. Nick, amazing developer, and Jamie, super talented artist. He's worked with like Nike, Adidas, Sony, Apple, Meta, Instagram, Facebook. Like he's worked with a ton of major companies doing character design. So like, yeah, we have a pretty stacked team. We don't have any VC funding. We're funding it all ourselves. We're only hiring from our community. So anybody that shows up and just like shows that they have talent, we hire them internally. And we want to practice that kind of ethos and that approach. Like we want to only hire internally. We haven't paid a single influencer to shill us, to talk nicely about us. It's all been just like word of mouth, relationships, friendships, and that grassroots approach. Like I think we did like 2 giveaways that were like a donut giveaway and a pizza giveaway to get hype going for the project. We didn't do any like ETH giveaways or any crazy shit like that. It was just really organic grassroots, like long hours, 12 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, skipping holidays, skipping birthdays. I almost missed my sister's wedding, actually, and I got hacked the day before on our Twitter account, the day before my sister's wedding. So like that was a fun nightmare. It's just been like go, just keep pushing through. Mistakes get made, find resolutions, make sure you deliver for your community. And that's kind of the approach that's really worked for us.
You're 100% correct on that, Rafsy. And before we dive into some more stuff, questions for you, and then also I want to introduce Big Pay on the stage here. I'm just dumbfounded for a second, guys. We have over 230 people in this space, and we've got 56 likes and 49 retweets. I'm about to shut this bitch down unless we get more up on this. We got people up here speaking their mind, talking to you guys about everything that we're building. And I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna say a lot. There was a couple speed bumps that we all saw on a kid called Beast as it launched, but look where it's at today. And it just shows the power of community and knowing that some things are out of your control, especially when your Twitter gets hacked. I mean, that's got to be, I can't imagine where my heart beats per second is in that situation. So Ras, I mean, just good for you for keeping a level head through all the thick and thin in a short period of time, because that's got to be something that most people would typically buckle under pressure. And here we are today. And I mean, dude, I got a smile on my face for you bigger than my earlobes. But as I'm gonna give you a second to breathe. With Metatope, I think we all got to understand that this whole entire ecosystem is not all about the chain. And we're showing it here in the space where we have UTS holders. We've got Ethereum holders, a bunch of apes and stuff. But coming to the stage right now is somebody from the Cardano side of things. What's Cardano? Well, they also have NFTs. And I went to CNFT Con and I met these people. And there's a lot of freaking cool people in that ecosystem. So Big Pay, thank you for coming up to the stage and talking to us. What's going on?
Really not much. I am good friends with Walker, and I've always looked at Metatope and thought it was fucking awesome. So I'm not a chain maximalist. So being able to join the space and hear from you guys and hear what you're working on, a lot of it's inspiring. So I just want to stop by, say hello, and learn some from you guys.
Well, thank you for coming up. Walker, you go ahead and take up here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, it's great to have you in here, Peyton. He's a very humble guy. He's a builder in the space for a long time. Was participating in a lot of the early days for the Cardano staking and has rolled that skill set into quite a few platforms. And that's what it's all about is creating value in the space. We heard it from Rasfi. developing a clear vision, attention to detail. And as important as anything is to empower the community to bond and to give them, opportunities for education and growth. And what a great job that they have done at it. So, there's your roadmap. If you want to be successful in this space, those are some of the keystones that are really going to position you well to be successful. And I resonate with the rest. I know our whole team does in so many regards. We've been building our project for almost a year and a half now, and
2 years, buddy. Where you been?
In the deep tech development side, but our ethos has always been that we want to have a consumer friendly product that elevates the value of this entire space, and that's what we're going to stick to, and that's what's going to create success. You look at the bull market, and you could launch any animal PFP, anything, because everybody was flocking in, trying to find something that they could resonate with. The fear of missing out was just so exponentially high that people would grab anything. But the projects who are here in this down market, in this lull, and they're building and finding success, I can guarantee you, many of those builders and communities are going to be rocking into this next bull market.
I wanted to step in for a second and just say hello because I'm pretty interested in Cardano, and I've been playing over there for a while with Ape Society, Chill Kongs. You probably know my buddy Cardano Shield, and I know a lot of the guys there. And if you guys, a lot of people come in here and they're, they say we're ETH maxis or we're this, but I'll tell you, if you go to Cardano, there are more builders over there than anywhere else in this ecosystem. So don't sleep on Cardano. There's some really cool stuff over there.
Yeah, and one thing I will say to that too is the lack of maximalism in Cardano as well. we're really willing to work with anyone and work with any chain, and we hope for a future of bridging all of these chains together so you can move your metatopes over to Cardano and move them back when you need to. So really looking forward to that, decentralized Internet of Blockchains future.
And the tribalistic nature that we see around blockchain technologies, in my opinion, a lot of it comes from scarcity. This idea that only one system can exist, and it's in my opinion, it's not the case. If you look at Ethereum and sure, ETH 2.0 rolls out, and the cost of transactions. Potentially it goes down substantially with sharding, but in the current state, the network does not scale to the masses with the average transaction. Even right now in a down market, you're still paying from a few dollars all the way up to $20-$100 depending on Gwei. And I remember in the bull market, it was just, I feel like average to pay $100 plus for a transaction, not even trying to mint, just trying to use the network. And I think what it'll come down to is people understanding as they integrate with this space and realizing the different security infrastructures, right? Like every piece of information doesn't need the same level of security. And I think that all of the blockchains that have been mentioned are building a robust network with some really great solutions that are going to create value.
All right, Fidgetal. I brought you up a second time. Don't let me regret this.
I'm always going to let you.
Did you make it to your destination?
Hey, Fidgetal, weren't we supposed to have drinks tonight? What's going on with you? Yeah, he's
all right.
he's
Well,
embarrassed.
great talk, Fidgetal. Swoo, did you have a question?
No, Kurt, I just want to chime in. I went over to my brother's house yesterday, and he had a headset on, that VR headset, and he's like, "Sis, come over here. I want to take you to a new world." And literally, I put it on and got lost. I was in paradise. not only paradise, we actually started, he took me to Jurassic Park, and it was, I could just envisioning my beast, right? Like on the VR virtual, it just is amazing. Like how much to life it comes.
Yeah, I mean, we're really seeing huge leaps forward in AR and VR, and part of it kind of scares me. I mean, you see, there's some things to be concerned about with AI. There's certain things to be concerned about with all these extended reality experiences. I'm personally a firm believer in AR over VR, just with, I mean, the Ready Player One aspect where you're in your mom's basement wearing a VR headset and a haptic feedback suit kind of terrifies me. And I'm hoping that as a society, we lean a little more heavily on AR to enhance our lives. But I do think VR will have an element, especially as it improves. And I'm hoping it's more of an entertainment aspect, maybe to connect with people that you can't otherwise connect with. But no, it's remarkable how far we've come in a short period of time and where we're going. It's really exciting.
Jordan, agreed. AR and VR. And I also think apparel is going to be so key here with NFTs as well. I think it's more than just merch, right? I think it's representing yourself. And I think we're all here. We love art. We love colors, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be all. We're all here for art. And I think apparel is art. And I just think it's a way of expressing ourselves. And it's nothing better than wearing something you love to wear, right? Or you see something that you have and representing it. It just hits different. You're proud. So I think those are just two things that I look forward to with the NFTs.
And real quick, guys, I just want to let everyone know here, Jordan. I just want to let everyone know I did move a couple speakers just to make room. I shot a DM over to these guys so everyone knows that we're just making some room for some questions that come up here. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw in that Raspy, we'll have to connect sometime offline because I get all the stuff that you were talking about when it comes to this. I mean, I'm blown away at 1,700 traits. That's remarkable. We've been dealing with our initial pass that we ran through. We had 400 quintillion possible combinations. And we're kind of simplifying things a little bit because it's the logic that goes into it. I mean, you were talking about what you guys had to do, if this, then this, with the ears and the hoods. It's absolutely insane. So I think we can we definitely can share some experiences there. But yeah, it's crazy when. I mean, I think in the space you need to be so adaptive and problem solve, right? There are things that you don't even fathom could be a problem, even if you have all these experts around you. And it takes problem solvers, like Chris mentioned. You guys, I mean, I saw the hack and the issues with your mint, and it's remarkable, and it shows why you guys are where you are. That you're adaptable and you can persevere. You have thick skin and you remain poised. So gotta give you a shout out for that. I mean, it shows from the way you talk about dealing with traits to hacks and all that. So yeah, gotta give a shout out there. And if you're I don't know where you're based, but if you're in LA, we gotta get together with Fiddy and share some more stories.
Yeah, and I think the word of the day, or at least the word of this week so far, has been the word flexible. So it's like, I think everyone here knows that, like, y'all got to flex your mind a little bit to let people make mistakes. I mean, that's how we all grow and get better. And luckily it happened to him and not somebody else that couldn't withstand that type of mistake, because the community stood behind, and I think actually got even stronger from things that weren't even under his control. So real quick, I've got a hand up on the stage. I want to welcome up two people. I was in the spirit of Cardano, so I brought my homie Clark Kent up in the space. Superman is here from the Cardano side of things. He's the super Cardano is what we'll call him. And then we got Ramon Alley Radio. I mean, how am I not going to let Ramon Alley come up and say what's good?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for letting me pop on up. Big fan of the project, big fan of a lot of the projects that are up on this stage. So lucky to be here, feeling good about it. And I'm just happy that everybody was talking about like the AR aspect of everything. We are, we're actually, I have a little cafe, like a small little coffee shop in my art gallery, and we're looking to have like the Beast Be AR menu holders. And so it's like really awesome when we talk about like the NFTs starting to come into the world and like expand everything to to be like way more you just like actively utilized, you know. And I wanted to ask Raf, when you guys are doing the T models, I mean the T poses and the rigging, are you guys gonna retopologize everything as well? Because I've just been coming up on a lot of like high polygon count, and so it's just been difficult to get everything, the mannequins for like Unreal and stuff like that. And so I was just wondering if you guys are going to be doing that, or if that's not going to be the case, so I can just be prepared for it.
Yeah, it's a really great question. I'm sure that we can, because I mean, when it comes to like repolygoning things, we can definitely like kind of re-optimize all that kind of stuff in different kind of layers and for different use cases. Because I realize that for sure, lower polygon counts are going to be more important for like Unreal Engine or Unity, and like mobile use cases are going to need lower polygon counts than something that's like a desktop or like a PC powered use case. It's a great question. I'm going to definitely talk to the creative team about that, and I'll get you an answer as soon as I have an answer.
Well, get with Jordan too, because if we can help you on that side of things, we do have, I would say, one of the, I mean, his name's Render. He's just absolutely amazing. I know that we could probably be, we could work with you on that level too.
Yeah, we've built a few things to make it to allow different experiences based on environments. So we can connect later on that. If there's any way to help, I'd love to help.
I appreciate that. Amazing, guys. Thank you.
Great. Fire. And Mr. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ramon.
Oh no, I said that's amazing. Thanks. I just thought it's fire because that just like really that just makes everything so much easier too. So if there's any way that can go down, that's just like gonna just change the game, because then I could really start introducing this to other businesses and make it really plug and play, and it'll be like great. It'll be just so great because I'm in New York City. I have one cafe, but when you have a cafe, you end up joining like this weird like service industry mafia. And so like now like we're like kind of all like interconnected and stuff like that. Just go in a shop for like service industry stuff, you're gonna be like meeting up with the same people and stuff like that, like fighting over cappuccino machines and shit. It's funny. So like it's gonna be great to be able to like introduce this new tech to all of them and stuff like that and get everything going.
And the way that we look at an NFT is as an ownership token, right? And where we see the future is by allowing that ownership token to access a multitude of 3D base models that are optimized for whatever digital environment you want to go into, whether it's something super low res like the sandbox, or something really high 4K output. And really, allowing for this interoperable experience for users when they're going into all these different environments. And that's where we see the PFP standard, if you will, evolving.
Let's run it over to Mr. Fidgetal, and then we'll go to Super Cardano Clark Kent.
So I'm actually gonna flip this back on Walker to crypto. So NFT projects, especially ones that like Utes, that are kind of highly focused on IP. How do you feel supported by your founders in terms of utilization, and what does that look like?
I'm sorry. Can you asking about the access to the IP?
Nope. So this is a multiple stage question. I understand access to IP. I'm asking beyond access. So this kind of goes to Fiddy. Fiddy correct me if I'm wrong, Fiddy, you let some of your holders use their IP. You choose the ones that you use on the hot sauces, or you take submissions? How does that work? And then that's going to parlay over to you guys in terms of Utes. I understand that you have probably a semi-fundamental understanding of what IP you've been granted, although seeing as how your founder doesn't know what IP you've necessarily been granted, I'm not really sure you guys do, but I'm interested in how, besides for IP that you've been granted and your understanding, how are you supported from a founder down ecosystem?
Well, yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, but I think we understand IP law pretty well. So hold on. It all comes down to the project and the parameters that have been put in place by their attorneys or their team. So it is different from project to project. Some people are very open garden, like the BAYC models, and then some are extremely closed garden and don't even allow the holders to have the ownership of the IP that they've purchased.
Walker, this shouldn't be like a charged question. I'm just asking you, two-step question. This is not charged. I'm an IP attorney. I'm literally just asking you a question. What IP rights have you been granted from the project, from the creators of the art? I actually don't know.
In many cases, you don't need the
Walker. You have a
Are you
Ute.
asking about Utes? Are you asking about Utes?
Yes,
Walker,
yes,
I don't think
yes.
Walker understood that. Walk Digital is asking about Utes.
So with Utes, the holders, if I'm not mistaken, they have ownership of their IP. So by that owner coming in and accessing the base model via the verification of the ownership of that token gives them the right to use that in the capacity of any environment or any experience that we partner with.
And I just want to let you guys know before we go farther here, I brought up the lawyer for Deadfellas. I don't know if there's any input from there that we could have on this as well, from the lawyer point of view. I'm not sure if they are IP, but let's go there first, and then we can get.
We love Shekinah. We love Shekinah.
Thanks for telling them how to pronounce my name. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I was gonna let somebody else do it. I didn't want to butcher it.
Wait, what did they say?
I didn't say anything.
I just went like IT lawyer.
Yeah, he didn't say anything. He was like, I don't know. But no, I mean, I kind of missed a question in coming up because, it cuts out, and then there's also that delay. But I know someone was talking about IP with Utes. That's the last thing I heard.
So
yeah, it was a pretty simple question that got really, really charged. What is the IP rights for Utes?
Oh, I have no idea because I don't.
I'll just run. I actually asked Kevin and the team if I could use my Ute. I want to put on some alcohol or whatever. They're pretty relaxed. Is it written out? Is it something that you can go read? No. Is it something that they plan to release? It sounds like it. As long as it's not malicious, they're pretty much given the green light. It's very relaxed over there. They've currently and this is something that I didn't even realize until 2 weeks ago. They've allowed people to use the Utes logo on clothing. There's this one guy who's been selling shorts for $60. They're black shorts, and they have the Utes logo. It says D Labs on it and stuff. I think they might crack down on that. Specifically,
shouldn't you guys know? Shouldn't you guys are all really excited about using your IP? Shouldn't you know exactly what your IP grant is in terms of copyright and trademark? Should it not be they are relaxed there and they let it go? Because if it's relaxed and you don't have trademark rights and you build a business, they can slap you for the trademark rights. So all I'm asking is, if you're excited by your IP, which it sounds like everybody's excited for your IP, do you? And Walker, you already answered the question. Y'all don't know what your IP rights are. They're usually pretty damn clear. You have a base grant of viewership if there's no rights granted to use on personal use, and then what you said in terms of you can use them, is that exclusive? Is that non-exclusive? Can the company use them? Can you use them? Can they retract them? Do you have rights to make money off them? Is that money limited? Are you able to monetize?
I think it's non-exclusive, so I don't think that the company can use them. I think once you own it, you can use them. But here's the thing. I'm just a talking guy. They haven't released it. Until they release it, we don't really have an answer. They've given us a direction, and they've answered in a way that says that we have the reins. But until they do something like the Bored Apes have done, none of this.
Walker, I'd suggest checking out a Kid Called Beast website for their IP grant. And then the main part of the question, which is, I didn't think that asking what the copyright grant would be so complicated, but clearly it's murkier than the water in Ohio at the moment. My question is then, that deserves some sort of laugh. Thank you, guys. My question then is, are you supported internally from the team? Do they have a grant program? Do they have an investment program? Do they have a support program? Is there formal avenues for you to submit business plans for them to vet them and potentially create formal business agreements with you guys?
Let's go to Jordan for this.
So as one of, I guess, at least 3 lawyers on the stage, and the one that I guarantee is the least proficient in IP law, I can tell you my understanding. And I mean, fortunately, we do have the founder of A Kid Called Beast on the stage that can speak to their terms. So Fidgetal,
I'm their attorney, Jordan.
Holy
there we
cow.
go.
Okay. So Fidgetal. So, but you asked about Utes. I haven't reviewed the Utes, in terms of use agreement. However, what I can tell you from conversations is that
Jordan, I have.
So my understanding, I talked to Kevin about it, and he said if you own one Ute, you have access to I'm sure this is a very limited license, but basically they said you have access to the entire collection, and to commercialize. And
Is this recorded? Is this recorded?
This is recorded.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But again, that's not coming from.
Let me be clear. So you spoke to Kevin, and Kevin told you if you have one Ute, you have access to all the Utes in the collection. Is that correct?
I'm sure there are many limitations around that, but that's the stance that they're taking because they're encouraging their holders. I mean, they're all about having their holders create. They love it when they see their holders create derivative content. Now, I'm sure they're going to be placing all kinds of CYA language in there to
Jordan, I'd be really excited if I launched a clothing line and then a bunch of people sunk a bunch of money into promoting my product without me having to pay them to do it. I'd be ecstatic as fuck.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we all came out to. I think what was said here, though, Vigil, is that you have reviewed it. So, are you asking a question? Do you already know the answer to?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main idea. No, I was gonna say the main idea is don't put money behind building under someone else's IP if you don't have it in writing that you need clarity on what's going on, because what if they get acquired? There's so many things that could happen, and then they take that license that they're saying they've given you, and they haven't really given you anything, and then you're stuck. So that's the point he's making. That's all.
No, what I'm trying to highlight deeper is I'm trying to educate founders and also therefore community members on what IP means, what copyright versus trademark means. And I'm going to drop a little alpha. If you actually read the IP grant for A Kid Called Beast, and Raf, you can give me a heart.
Where is it on the site? Because I'm on the site. So
Raf, where is it on the site?
So if you own the token, you can log in and connect your token, and then you have the IP rights available to you there.
Got it. I do not own the token, so I will not be able to see it. Cool.
So we're building a business incubator, a builder's incubator, where you can opt into your copyrights as a formal token. Then you can actually build businesses using a DAO infrastructure, and you could submit proposals to use your IP, and the company will actually potentially financially support your project, very clearly delineate your copyright and trademark usability, provide either grants or equity financing, allow for trademark usage. And I think the fact that, and I'm just gonna, I hate to be a bah humbug, but the fact that Walker, your IP is worth about $3,000 right now. Is that what that's worth? The picture?
Yeah, maybe.
Around $3,000. It's okay. I'm not holding you. We'll see what happens when it goes to Polygon. But the fact that you don't, no more jokes, more laughs. Okay. The fact that you don't know exactly what your IP is, and the fact is that you don't have an understanding how your founders are supporting you more than they like it when you do shit. And as Jordan said, they're very lax. Like, these are businesses, y'all. Y'all are spokespeople for a business. Shouldn't you know exactly what the rights are for the thing that's worth around $3,000 around your neck? I know if you were wearing a gold chain, you would know the carats, you would know the weight, you would know where you got it from, you'd have the carat count, right? It's just, I think it's a really underserved opportunity in this ecosystem that even Mr. Fitty over there, who can't speak very clearly right now because of his mic, didn't properly and very clearly delineate.
I'm good now.
Well, I think also, man, when we're talking about looking into all the specifics of individual projects, it's also a time commitment, right? Like, I mean, I'm the vice president of a company that I'm building myself, and buying into the Utes, more than anything was for the community. Regardless of the business model in this space in the current state, a lot of the value that is created is around the attention that it draws, and the access that you get to that group of individuals. And I think they did a great job in many ways, and some of the the roadmap that I think A Kid Called Beast has even followed, in the Beast Hoods, right? The sub DAO community has done a great job at creating, very tight knit bonds, and that was something I wanted to be a part of, honestly, regardless of the licensing rights of the IP, because personally, I don't have any interest in doing that.
And let's go to Fiddy here, because I know Fiddy was asked the same question and he didn't have a chance. He was rugging a little
Yeah.
bit. Let's go to Fiddy here.
My daughter actually disconnected my router in my room to plug in her Roblox. So a little more metaverse games here. I was trying to figure out why I could only hear like 3 out of 6 people.
And by the way, before Fiddy goes, I want to say that, like, I think Fidgetal's, and I'm not speaking for him, but I think he wants to educate more than anybody I know. And sometimes it takes conversations to do that. And man, I'm learning more in the last 15, 20 minutes than I have through IP than I ever have, because he's right. I've never even looked into what I have for my youth. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this. Like, I did an hour, like I get probably an hour and a half space on IP like yesterday, and not saying I'm trying to go listen to it, because you don't need to, but it is complicated, and it's not, like, I don't have the expectation of consumers just to, like, you read it and you're probably not gonna understand it. We hear it all the time. People mix up trademark and copyright all the time. And it is difficult, but the only thing I would say, if you're going to put money behind something and build a business, you want to hold that founder accountable to informing you, like what you're able to do. And if they put it up in legalese, you don't understand it, then you ask them, you say, can you put this in plain language? And they'll either say, well, go get a lawyer, or they'll put it in plain language and break it down for you. Because like Fidgetal said, you are giving them free promotion, and who knows what your contacts, in IRL are, that will grow that brand. So I never put it on, NFT collectors to learn the law. It's certainly not IP law, because it can be confusing, and I think that's okay. But make sure you get clarity from the founders, because the onus is on them, because you've already, like you said, you already put money into buying the PFP. So they need to tell you, and not just what can I have in writing? It doesn't take them that long to kind of put it up on the site, especially, if they want to see it, happen. So
Refs, if you can censure kind of the IP rights, I'm traveling. But Walker, let me ask you an interesting question. What if I made a chocolate bar company with your PFP on it without asking you, and I made $100 million?
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate? What do you think?
It's milk, obviously. Look at it. That's a high mountain Toblerone.
Okay.
As long as it's salted with caramel, I'm in. No, but I mean, you bring.
It's filled with nuts. It's got all the nuts, Walker. It's filled with nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be very happy about that. I'm gonna want my cut. I'm gonna want my piece.
But guess what? Do you know what's going to happen? Because I know that your rights are non-exclusive. Guess who's going to sue them and get all the money? Not you, motherfucker. Frank and Kevin are going to rape that chocolate brand and get all the nuts.
That's right.
We all like our nuts.
That's right. No, it's interesting, because I first got on a space with Fidgetal and Carlos, and I think, what was that attorney from Beverly Hills? There's another guy who's really smart. There's 3 attorneys, and they schooled me on IP. I tightened my stuff up and put it on the website really, really quick, giving everybody full IP, trademark, whatever they wanted. Now, here's the interesting thing. It's not always the best thing to give your holders full IP, because you know what? Not a lot of people do stuff with it. So the way I did it was I gave everything away, but you know what? I'm still helping and I'm still working. I'm not letting go. I'm still pushing. Like, we've got a hot sauce we launched, which gives all of our holders.
Wait, Fiddy, did you give a license or you gave a grant?
We gave a license. We gave full IP license.
So it's a license. You didn't give a full grant.
No, we did not do a full grant.
But Education 101, my friends.
Yeah.
Even the founder doesn't know what he gave.
No,
I love you, Fiddy.
I know. Listen, this is new to us. You got to realize that, like, we're going to digital artwork now. We've got IP, but I do understand that if you go into a courtroom and you say who drew the art, they're going to say, well, the artist did. Well, you, the artist, no. So they're going to say, well, he needs to come here. And I get that whole thing. We've talked about it. But for the most part, we do understand like what's going on here. But I do think we need to be clear on what we have and what we don't have. But going forward with this, I mean, like I'll explain. Like I needed one of our pieces, one of our gold apocalyptic apes, to use for the website. So I had to call one of the holders and ask him to allow us to use the IP rights. And that was all done, legally, so we can actually put that and use that on some of the hot sauce just for the marketing purposes. So I do understand, and can we do better? Yeah, absolutely. I'm still doing better. I'm not 100% happy where I'm at, but I'm about 99%.
And let's run over to Ramon with a hand up real quick here. Ramon, does it have to do with IP, or do you have a question in
Yeah,
general?
it has to do with IP actually. I just wanted to know if there was a reasoning why only the holders can see the IP, because I see the IP as being valuable. Well, out of the IP rights as being valuable and as being almost a reason for people to want to come in this project, because it's very clear delineated and you can see that you guys are actually having a real willingness to want to come in and help the people that are making good ideas come to life. So I just wanted to know why it's not something that's just like a tab on the website so people could see hey, this is what we're providing for the future, and this is the kind of thought process we have for future growth.
I think it's a question for Kid Called
Yeah, I'm
Beast
sorry, it was
in
a question for
general. Yeah.
Raph. Yeah, sorry, I thought I said that, but I might not have.
Oh, sorry, I totally was just kind of zoned in, blanked into something else. What was the question again? My
I'm
apologies.
sorry, it's all right. The question was, I was wondering if there was a reasoning why the IP rights aren't just available for people to see as they're browsing the site, because I think it's very valuable and it's a real valuable draw to just buying and purchasing a beast when they can see what's available to them and also see the willingness that you guys have as a team to make ideas come to life. Should they align with what we're doing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for now, I kind of wanted it because really the existing holders were the ones that were asking for the existing IP rights. We kind of we roll things out as we feel comfortable, I guess. That's the honest answer. In terms of delivering stuff for the holders. The holders are obviously our top priority, versus outside consumers is a top priority. And then yeah, of course, also I'm not gonna lie, the component of getting ripped off or plagiarized on our IP rights. When we spend a ton of money on that, also kind of bothers me a little bit.
Okay, yeah, no, that's even a great answer right there, for sure.
It's going to happen regardless, right? I think people should have to pay for these kind of things and not expect others to pay for these things, because it's a very important component of running a business and running a project, is having your legal tight. So I do think that lawyers who specialize in this, especially in Web3, pioneering this space and kind of jumping into that kind of realm and helping people protect them legally, should be paid and should be consulted with. It's something that people kind of neglect, and they think oh, this is something I can just kind of trim the fat on and cut costs on, and use some copy paste templates. And I think people should have to pay for that kind of stuff. I don't really want to make it so simple for any project to come out with a 1 week business plan, be able to copy and paste our IP rights, and then decide for themselves they're going to change the name of the corporation listed on there, duplicate what we spent a ton of money on in establishing and organizing through several drafts, and then be able to start offering the same kind of solution at no cost. So yeah, it's kind of for competitive reasons. I definitely don't want to reveal it to everybody right off the jump. I want to see some other projects get some strong IP rights of their own put together before I start kind of openly sharing that information and allowing people to kind of juggle that, because we have a competitive advantage because we have IP rights available to our holders, and so I kind of competitive advantage is a competitive advantage for a reason, right?
Yeah, bro. I'm 100% there with you. That's a perfect answer. I dig it.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Thank you for doing that. And I can't believe Fidgetal left you high and
Where he
dry. Where you
just
had
dipped.
to,
How you gonna just leave
dude
them?
just dipped out. He's like, the important questions. I was here joking, but I'm out of here. Actually, you might want to dock that on the logs next time you have to write them a check. But yeah, no, that's really, really good stuff. IP is so important, guys. We all got this vision in our minds that we want to do some crazy stuff. Sorry for the recording, with our space or with our IPs, and really we got to educate ourselves. And I want to say that Rhapsody's done a great job by getting a head start on that. And a lot of projects that are existing have to make some adjustments. You know, that's maybe something they really didn't pay attention to in the beginning. And projects like ours, like Metatope, is we're going to get a head start before we even launch. So I think there's so many different ways that this is going to affect people's collections. And I want to throw it back to Raspy.
And I just wanted to say too, that was totally unexpected and impromptu. Like I had no idea that Fidgetal was going to go pitbull on education. So I mean, I still love the guy. He's amazing. Like he means well for everybody. But yeah, I did not expect the conversation would turn to that route and become a conversation about IP at all. Wasn't
I know we got
but it's
up.
very important. It is very important stuff for sure. Like definitely under recognized. I under recognized it until I kind of started learning about liabilities and issues you can run into as a founder. Because like obviously, you know, my intent is creative first, you know, technology first, do cool shit first. Like legal was the last thing on my mind initially. But as I started learning more and more about you know, the ramifications you can run into, and you're making sure that people have clarity, because there are people very serious about building. I realized that, you know, IP is and legality is definitely something that should be pushed far more to the forefront in this space specifically, because we are under, you know, heavy scrutiny from different governing bodies, and we have to self-police as much as we can in this space and become kind of examples of the world we want to have, rather than become examples of the lawsuits we're defending ourselves from, right?
It's so true, and that's a good point. Yeah, sorry. I know we got hands up, and I'm actually going to be getting in the car shortly, so I might be cutting in and out. But no, it's Fidgetal's awesome. I had the pleasure of meeting him on a couple occasions, and he will talk endless crap about our product and say he doesn't get it, and ask the best questions ever. And I love interacting with the guy. But it shows how, like, why expertise is so important. Like, yes, I'm an attorney. I've taken IP classes and I still don't touch it. Right. I know enough to get myself into trouble, and then I defer to all the experts for when it comes time to an actual serious matter. So that's why it's so good. I mean, it's so awesome that you have someone like Fidgetal in your corner, because he is clearly one of the most knowledgeable people about IP in this space. So yeah, it's awesome what you guys are doing. Chris, kicking it back to you in the hands.
Sure. Let's jump over. Oh boy. Thank you. Oh boy. Shikana, right?
Oh Lord Jesus, Shekinah.
I got it. Let me write that
Yeah,
down.
yeah. No, I just want to piggyback on that, and this also kind of add. You don't have to have a condescending tone, you know, to teach people, because that's just a jerk ass move. But yeah, just kind of piggyback with what Rafi was saying. You know, it's not like I also would like to see the collectors, like those that are collecting, that feel, and kind of what I was saying before, you know, like you just ask better questions when you're buying into these projects, when the founders are doing AMAs, you know, like right before, you know, like before they mint, you know, you want to ask those questions. You know, like, is the business a registered entity? You know, have you filed a trademark for the logo, you know, for the brand name? Have you copyrighted like the art? You know, are there contracts in place, you know, like with the artist that was, you know, that you hired to do the art for you? And like, I don't think those are, I think those are simple questions to ask. I think those are good questions to ask, because, you know, you're spending thousands. I mean, well, usually hundreds to thousands, you know, on these NFTs. And so you may not fully understand, you know, trademark or contract law or even business law, but I think those are some good questions to ask, you know, from the start. Like if you go and buy a car, you're going to ask some questions. When you go to buy a house or even rent a house, you're going to ask questions. So I think that's a good point, you know, of education is just asking the tough questions, you know, to founders, you know, like before you make the purchase. So that's all I want to add.
No, thank you for adding that. That's everything you said there was legit, even the condescending part, even though I love Fidgetal. But no, it's I love it, man. This has been great so far. Just to give a heads up, we're gonna run through some hands here. Probably close it down by 8:30 Eastern. But yeah, let's get to Terry real quick.
Hi, thanks for having me up. Great panel, and
thank you for coming up.
Since it's a founders talk, I had a question. I just kind of wondered, you know, what kind of advice would you give to future founders, having gone through, I don't know, Raspy, your experience, even though it's 15 months, you know, it's still kind of new with the minting recently and stuff like that. But, you know, what would you do differently? And not just Raspy, everybody on stage. And what advice would you give to future founders?
That's a tough one, because a lot of like decisions in this space have to get made dynamically. Like you can't really plan for everything in this space specifically. If I could do things differently, I don't know. I probably would have trusted more of my instinct, and in a lot of cases, less advice from some people, because certain entities and certain groups have their own biases on how they perceive things, and like they base those things off kind of their historical data. It might not necessarily be like reflective of what your intentions are in the space, and so the number one thing I think to focus on is really make sure that the people you align yourselves with, or you align yourself with as a founder or creator, are people that really have very similar and like-minded kind of intentions, and have very similar goals, and have an intent to help you, not just make money off you. So yeah, I think if there's any advice I could have taken, I would have stuck more true to myself, and less and it would have been less influenced by kind of the opinions of others.
Let's run that over to Fitty.
So that's a fantastic question, and I actually had a really interesting start, and luckily I had a pretty good team. We had an incredible dev. We had a great, just a great foundation. But one of the things that I kind of did listen to myself against what everybody else is saying, and I did hire somebody and paid a lot of money to make sure that our Discord was safe. I did hire really good people to run socials, and have just did things correctly. But there are a few people that I pivoted like within 2 weeks of Mint. So I think a lot of people, what they do is they have a team, and their team, deep down inside, there's a problem somewhere, but you're already kind of like so deep into it that you're just going to go anyways. I actually let go of like 45% of our team 2 weeks before we minted our project, because I knew there was a problem. And that was the best thing I've done. I did. And I think that so many projects I see, they know there's a problem, but we're already there. We're going to try it anyways. I think you have to do what's best for the project, what's best for the people, what's best for the community, what's best for yourself. But I think most important, make sure that you know who this dev is. Because when you're taking people's money, get that dev, meet him, sit down with him, put him in front of 5 FBI agents, strip him down, figure out he's good, and he's not going to run away with people's money. And that's really like, my dev team is incredible. They're like, I call them up with something, I'll give them an idea, they'll call me the next day with the idea that's 10 times even better than mine. So I would say, and make sure that whoever's doing your website and your dev work is working together, because I've seen a lot of problems where two people don't know how to put those two things together. So if you're not a technical person, make sure people work together. You kind of have your team in place, and if you have to make a hard pivot, go for it.
I love that. You guys both had awesome insight. The one thing I'd love to add is I've seen this with a lot of founders that I admire, and a commonality, and I don't think you should necessarily take it literally, but the successful founders that I've seen are able to do every single job in their organization. And now I'll take a project like Metatope just because I'm so familiar with it, because it's been my baby for the past couple years. It's not like I can go in there and retopologize a concept sculpt from one of our artists, but I at least understand the process, so that if a key person were not available, we could bring in more talent to do exactly what we need to do, or I'm able to speak the language and connect the dots and actually help problem solve. Because even if it isn't my strength, you have to learn the key elements of how to get your project from 0 to 60. So I think, being able to roll up your sleeves and do things that you're uncomfortable doing are so essential.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'm not a founder, but from what I've seen from different founding teams, I would certainly say delegate. Like when you're developing that team, you want to make sure that the people in the team have different skill sets. Like everyone is a master at something, so that when you need to delegate and like you're able to do it, and you can trust those folks to kind of like handle their load. Another thing I'd add, I think it was Fiddy, I was just talking about, the devs and those working on the website, I would say have those, know their actual names, their legal names, know where they are, like the address, like where are you in the world? Hopefully, I don't know, they'll be native to whatever country you're in, and get those folks on contracts. So if anything does go crazy or awry, like you're able to take legal action if funds are stolen or something happens. But I would certainly say do that. Try to have your contracts in place on the people that you're hiring to create the project. So that's the devs, whoever's on the website, whoever the artist is. Maybe later you can do the team, but obviously as a lawyer, I'm going to say you want to do the team ahead of time as well. But certainly the people that you're contracting, I would like hiring as independent contractors to do work for you, because you don't want them to be able to claim any type of ownership over what was your idea and what you've paid them to create for you. But yeah, delegate, rest. It's okay to rest. You can rest and come back, and your audience will still be there. Or the product isn't worth it. So I would say just trust that. So contracts, delegate, rest. That's what I'd say.
There's no resting here. What are you talking about? Nobody here sleeps. It's open sea. It's blur. I mean, we're in the blur market. I'm going to call it a blur market because if this thing does trap, then I'm going to, say it was a blur trap. It makes only perfect sense. But, I think Raspy's just had a internet change and he's going to probably jump back in. But either way, we were running down to our last 15 minutes. So as we close down the show, I just want to run through the audience one more time. I'm sorry, Clark, that we didn't get a chance to talk to you at high level, but I do want to have you just kind of say hi. And, thank you for being here from, even though you got that ute, we all know who you are. We know where you live. And, most importantly, guys, thank you for anybody who requested, wasn't able to jump up here. There's a lot of people in the space, and we have spaces here for TopeTalk every Thursday. This is our 35th week, guys. We've been doing these 35 weeks in a row every Thursday. And this has been our best one. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. This has been the most audience that we've ever had. And it's also been some of the best conversation that we've ever achieved so far. But this is not where we end. I have a lot of things in the works so far. I'd like to do some theme stuff, like one night be Cardano, one night be Sol, one night be Ethereum. I want to bring in Charles Hoskinson. I'm already working on that, guys. So there's going to be some really, really cool stuff. Please follow the Metatope account, follow the speakers. We'll get you a follow back. I personally follow back if I can. I try not to miss them. But yes, please come see us again every Thursday. I want to run through everybody here and just give some final thoughts. Let's just start with the panel. Mr. Walker. All right, we'll go back to Walker. Fitty.
Yeah, no, great space. You had some great people. I did want to hear from Clark because I know he came out here from the JPEG store, and a lot of people think that Cardano's really far away. They think you have to cross the railroad tracks, but it's not that far. It's just it's a Twitter space, and I truly think that going forward, this will be like Fidelity. And I guarantee you, if I asked 10 people in this room who trade stocks, about Apple, about Shopify, Peloton, whatever stock, and asked you, is that New York Stock Exchange, American, NASDAQ? People don't know. And I truly feel down the road, it's going to be the same thing here. Right now, we're so early that we're all like, no, I'm ETH, no, I'm Cardano, I'm Avalanche, I'm HBAR. I think all that crap's going to be gone. I think down the road, we're all going to be working together. So right now, I would encourage each and every one of you start working with different blockchains and at least getting to learn them, because I promise you that as soon as the next Utes or DGods launches on whether it's HBAR or Avalanche, you're all going to start running over there. But at that point, you're going to be too late because you don't know how to use those little wallets. So learn that stuff, figure it out. Don't knock other chains. They're all awesome. Other than the purple shit they drop in my wallet, I love them all.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, definitely learn other wallets. I know Phantom's popping off on their beta right now, which it's something that will probably be used more than MetaMask, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean that Cardano and these other chains. I mean, dude, Bitcoin. What the hell? Anybody think about where we're going to put where the Ordinal's going to hang out at some point? Are we going to be buying those things? that's another topic for another conversation. But Walker is cooking food with apparently I think he used the wrong oil. It said things popping off. So I'm expecting either us to hear from him or the fire department, one of the two. Bermuda, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, great job up here, Chris. Awesome space. Really, really dope to have the opportunity to talk to, a lot of people that I've seen around the space, but haven't actually had the opportunity to connect with. And the topics were good, so I'm just kind of looking forward to next week. Thursdays, you know what it is. Clark, bro, what the fuck is good? Oops, sorry for the F-bomb. But, that's it, man. I'm out of here. Love you guys. Appreciate it.
Fantastic, dude. And oh man, I guess it's Clark's turn. Just kidding. Clark, take your time here. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I'm popping in. Yeah, shout out to the cross chain homies. It was super dope to see you guys connect with Raspy like that. I see a lot of like synergy and overlap in kind of just like the project itself. Also, how you guys are marketing Metatope is similar kind of to how Raspy and them kind of did it like way back when. So like watching you guys kind of take the same path is just like you're a brand NFT project, like not even talking about like when you guys signed up for the Metatope list, right? You got NFTs on like 5 different blockchains on there, which is like, that's like the future. Like if you're a chain maxi and you're only sticking to one thing, like as Fitty said, you gotta learn. You gotta learn the ways. Even if you're not buying anything, open up one of those other blockchain wallets, just connect it to the marketplaces and just see what's going on, because you never know.
Nah, dude, you brought up some good points. And when we do TopeTalk, when we first did these first weeks, we were learning and we were shilling our ass off. We sounded like bozos. Now we're actually having great conversations and people in these spaces that actually want to learn. And we really appreciate everything you just said. It really isn't about the blockchain because we can do it. We can actually bring assets into different areas of this entire ecosystem, which we'll get into another day. But it's really exciting to see you here and to have some of these guests come up on stage, like you said, Raspy, Fitty, Centribos, like there's and everyone else here. I mean, we had 3 lawyers on the stage. Typically, if there's 3 lawyers in the room, I'm running out of that room. So going to Terry. Thanks for coming up, Terry.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you earlier today. Thanks for having me up. I think it's a great space. I just want to mention one of the things I really like about the A Kid Called Beast space, going back to what you were just talking about, is it really is a mix of people across all platforms. I mean, there are people from Cardano, there are AVAX people, there are Solana people, there are ETH people. There's people who own the ordinals now. It's like there's no judgment and everybody just kind of works together, and there's no even, they don't even shit talk each other. You know what I mean? It's just everybody's just together, and it's really been an awesome opportunity. So I'm really glad to hear that you guys, talked about that, because, as these other, everybody else, Safe Moon's getting into NFTs, there's all these people getting into the space, and I just don't think there's any room for us to be judging each other for what we buy on, on what blockchain. So I just think that's unnecessary. So thank you for saying that.
100%, Terry. Thank you for coming up. Diesel, you stay here? Or you busy with the child?
No, I'm still here.
Let's go. Diesel been here the whole time. Holy moly. I thought this guy would be super busy, like throwing around a 1-year-old. Thanks for being here, Diesel. I know you've been busy.
Of course. I'm here listening.
That's good, brother.
Loving the space.
We're about to shut it down, brother. Any last words?
Nah, man. I learned a lot today. I'm glad to be here.
Let's go, baby. Thank you. Ramon Alley Radio. Final thoughts.
Oh man, hey, what's up? Thank you. No, great. I mean, like, this is a great space. You guys are awesome. I'm really loving the topics. I'm loving the cross-chain utility talk is just exactly what we need, because there's just like, that's where the abundance is. This is an abundance space. And the more that we kind of realize that and like get out of like the Web2 kind of just like capitalist grind, I need to kind of make my picket fence in my yard around my empire. And the more we open it up to each other, the more there's just going to be just that's where the opportunity lies. And so I'm just happy to be a part of the conversation and happy the conversation's happening, happy to be part of this great project and be building and have the support of the project. And then I know the support of the communities and the founders that are going to be coming into the project. And it's like, we're talking about things. I can see the growth happening, all the IP talk, all that stuff, that just alludes to something really, really beautiful and really strong happening and necessary in this space to make it strong before the big names and the big arms come. And then this opportunity that's kind of like razor thin just really slips away. So glad to be here. Love you guys. I can't wait to the next one.
Thank you, G. Oh shit, we're back. Shikana. Damn, probably wasn't what. I forget how to pronounce it.
It's crazy.
One more time.
Shekinah.
Shekinah. Oh my god.
Like she kind of fine. She kind of cool. Shekinah.
She kind of fine.
Cool.
Let's
make
go.
Make a mimetic out of it.
Lord. No, I mean, it'd be the same thing I said, like contracts, delegate, rest, just all about like mental health, just ease of mind is what I'd like to see, more in this space. So those are my final words.
No, thank you, Shekinah. Those are great words. And, last but not least, the man of the entire last month, Mr. Rafsky, thank you for being here. Look forward to the next time. Look forward to seeing what we're going to do together as companies as we chat and helping each other figure out this future endeavor of Web3 AR and all the above, right? So final thoughts from you and then we'll close it out.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me on. Sorry, my oven's going up. I'm making a focaccia right now. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Take your time.
Okay,
bro.
there
Take
we go.
your time.
Okay, we're good. Yeah, I was gonna say I had a bit of an emergency I had to take care of. I had to hop out quickly. But yeah, no. Definitely, productive conversations. I think the best thing founders can do is conversate with the audiences and the community and learn kind of what they're working on, what they're building, and how they can help them. Like the answers and the solutions for everything that we're creating as founders are really in kind of the sentiment that the community shares, right? Like they're going to let you know what they need, and you just have to deliver to them what they ask for. And obviously, add some creativity, add some ingenuity of your own, and that's where we act as founders. But yeah, I think just listen to the community, figure out what they need, how you can help them, and give them tools to create actionable things that help expand upon the universe of whatever it is you're creating. I think that's super, super important. And then, of course, make sure to do it legally and make sure you don't cut any corners along the way. Obviously, a big component of this as well.
Let's go, guys. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday evening, wherever you are. If it's here Friday, if you're across the world. This was an absolute fantastic space between some of the people that have dedicated their lives to the Web3 culture. And it's only going to get started from here. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. And we'll see you next Thursday for TopeTalk. God bless. And let's go touch some grass. I need a drink. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Cyberpunk. Yeah. I mix my ETH with Polygon Pythagoras. MetaMask. Yeah. Crypto cash. Yeah. I seen the metaverse through Metatope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Phase 1 evolution, revolution. Smart contracts inside your smartphone. Phase 1 evolution, revolution. Help me ET phone. Whole body markerless motion capture. The metaverse broken after the Metatope golden era. The whitelist still open. Hurry up, what you need? Golden chariot. Holy virgins that's holding cherubims, paving the road with fairy dust. Create the avatar of your wildest dreams, yeah, and use it inside your live stream. And on your metaverses, favorite games in widescreen. Metatope, visualize your digital ID. I seen the metaverse through Metatope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Yeah, Metatope is your mirror to the metaverse. Yeah, I seen the metaverse through Metatope, my eyes a megaphone. Customize my empty skin to optimize my flesh and bone. Metatope.com